You just can't go wrong with this pick.
Yeah. Okay, so first pick, Angela for AP Bren right away. You mentioned the Ixia. With the Baksha, Matilda, and especially the Kadita gone, ONIC actually has the room in their draft to pick up an Ixia maybe for the third or a surprise fourth pick, if ever. So, hey, your recommendations to pick it up, they might actually do just that. 2 picks here for ONIC. Fredrin and Valentina both still available.
I'm actually curious why that, like, Angela first pick. I know, you know, we're in this healer meta right now, but I'm still kind of surprised by that was picked up for priority for AP Bren.
You know what's funny? I remember someone told me right after the patch drop, they were watching me play my ranked games. They were like, "Why aren't you picking up the Angela? It's such an easy win." And I tried it out. Yeah, it doesn't. It's just so easy. I don't know. This the blank what do you call that? The flat stats that you get, the shielding, everything because of the new emblem as well. It's just so easy to just stay alive and just keep that heart guard up. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. This can enable so many things. It can enable lanes to go independent, even with just your Angela roaming up onto the base. So I don't blame him. And I actually do agree that up till now, even until now, Angela's still pretty much easy win.
Yeah, let's watch out. Valentina is available. There it is. Picked up there by AP Bren. And the Yuzong. Okay. So in terms of the main options we discussed, they have been showing up here.
Right.
But the lineup of AP Bren, if they're not careful here, they might actually fall victim to a Lilia, which Super Friends has played with a lot of success recently.
Yeah, definitely not ban-worthy though, right? Still pretty much a pocket pick in certain scenarios.
Yep.
This time around, their mid laner definitely still lacking. They can leave that maybe up to the last picks. Because right now...
Oh yeah, like the surprise. That's true.
Yeah, and there's also possibilities of Eves coming out still very much
we haven't seen her
stable.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just out there waiting, you know.
I'm actually okay with her like falling off though, because again, last season
Gord.
we were like, So, and you know, whether it's Gord or not, it looks like it's gonna be the Fairness locked in here for now though.
There
but
it is.
like, remember before when it was all Eve Farsa, Eve Farsa, Eve Farsa, Eve Farsa. Like, I'm glad where we are now. You know what I mean?
A bit more different. I'm also just happy to see more Lilia.
Games can get more scrappy, more in your face because of that, right? Speaking of in your face, that's definitely something that, you know, AP Bren's going to try to avoid here. Their ISO very, very low right now from the draft index, which means that they might just prioritize the late game, as you can see right there. Although, again, the index rarely lies, so that's something you got to keep in mind here. Their burst definitely on the side of ONIC here, and that is absolutely true, especially if you can pull off a beautiful Phantom Stampede.
Yeah, Shadow Stampede.
Shadow Stampede. Yeah, there you go.
I was thinking of Phantom Livery, but that's completely different.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong alley.
Maybe Bren, fourth pick here. Okay, so they picked up the Faramis, which, okay, you play into the whole Valentina Faramis thing, but I feel like there might be room for Perxiva's Cho or Kufra here.
You think?
Yeah. And like, we casted that series rock hard when he showed up that Kufra, when he played that Cho against Blacklist International, and he was amazing there.
Yeah, it felt like he could do no wrong.
Yeah.
If he can get in that mode again, that's something that's going to be hard to punish if you're a Valentina, if you're a Yuzhong, and if you're an Angela. So actually, you know what? That's actually pretty good. I wonder if that's going to be bannable here for AP Bren, knowing with the full knowledge, right, that it is a comfort pick for ONIC.
Oh, if they get that, if they do get their hands, let's say, you know, Super Friends on the Faramis, and then we have whether it's a Cho, whether it's the Kufra still open too, something that allows them to find the sets that they need. Because again, when we're talking about, even when we saw the chart, right, of the neutral objective control that AP Bren usually has, the fact that both these teams, like you mentioned, Renmar, were leading in their games previously in the week before, and then they just kind of dropped the ball, right? So you're going to want to be able to set things up, but not only have a good setup potential, but also to cover some of that backside, right? You've already got a Nether Realm in your favor, but of course, AP Bren has that, plus an Angela. So you kind of want to be able to extend those fights. You want to be able to counter into a lot of that healing and sustain that AP Bren's going to have as well. Irithyll is great because it's so mobile. Like, it's such a mobile option that it's a little more on the safe side, right? But still, how do you round things out so that you're winning those neutral fights? And you don't want to go and give 3 turtles to AP Bren, which we've seen a lot of teams do. Like, sometimes they don't even want to fight them.
Yeah. Minotaur actually is available still for ONIC. If it's not going to be the Cho or Kufra for Brick Ziva.
Yeah.
And they're going to take it away from... Oh, wait, no. My apologies. Right, it's already a Rome Angela and a Mid-Valen. So it might be a Martis here for AP Bren later on as their jungler.
They're going to have problems, especially in their their early game skirmishing, because Valentina's their only key to take those fights. They need something to be able to control the jungle there, and you're right. Actually, Martis would be great. And these are things that you can also think about. What if we go back to an Assassin Kyle Teasy pick, and then you can go kind of full tank on Ogwin?
That
Maybe you can steal the Kufra.
Exactly, yeah, I was thinking about that too, but then going up against a Faramis and Fredrin already, and we know the Faramis most likely will go to the mid lane, it's so difficult for an Assassin to thrive here. They can try. I'm not going to knock them for trying. It's just going to be so hard.
Jungle Valen again? Just kidding.
Oh, that's
Hey,
way
that's a
back.
stretch.
That's way back.
Yeah, that's way back. There's very few people that do that, but,
And she's changed.
there's also very few people that play Arlot nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's locked in here for ONIC, which could work out with what they have for the first 4 picks already. But still, a big question,
Marcus
is
Brody?
AP Bren. What do you want to pick up for the gold lane especially?
Yeah.
Gold lane, man. I think you can't go wrong with the Beatrix.
Oh, yeah,
still.
you're right.
So I think Super Marco is still in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
Thinks I can duel up well against an Irithel.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And the Clint comes in. I think I heard a lot of gasps there.
Yeah.
Hey, you did say it was the Wild West earlier.
It is the Wild West, isn't it?
Okay. That's interesting. So Rockhard predicted it way back with the whole Wild West reference, and it was the Wild West.
Weird.
But yeah, that's a pick that they actually got to shine with a few months ago in the offseason. So, and he hurts. Like, if ONIC can't disrupt him, that Clint will farm up or hit his power spike really quickly.
All right, I think Rome is still pretty much going to be a tank here because they
Yeah.
can't really rely all on Ryzen to tank it up. Kufra is just ringing here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Kufra and the Minotaur, for sure, to
Yeah.
clean it up for ONIC. And I think that these are picks that can. And Lolita's still there. I don't know if anyone's willing to use Lolita, but he's there. Minotaur,
There's a
there you
Minotaur.
go.
All
So things haven't gone topsy-turvy yet. All right.
Not just yet. Okay, interesting
good.
draft decisions by these two. I feel like AP Bren went into the draft, though, a little bit more risky because they showed the Angela right away.
Yeah, it was like first pick. That's
Yeah.
what I was surprised too.
Rockhard, do you think that ONIC was able to draft that really well? Will AP Bren have a hard time here, or will it be the opposite?
The index just shows it. I think this is a good summary of it. They have everything. Oh, sorry, they have a little something for everything.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of something for the early game, a little bit of something for mid and late. But the problem is, again, they might stretch themselves out too thin. That's going to rely so much on Ryzen just ramping up really hard. If Ryzen kind of just goes into that mode where, oh, I can't really tank anything, I'm so squishy, and there's a Martis on the other side as well, that's something that might be a problem.
By the way, watch out for the smart power prediction. At some point in the game, a poll will show up. You only have until the timer runs out to comment your prediction with the hashtag SmartPowers MPL-S12.
And one lucky commenter who guesses correctly will win a redeemable in-game code. Remember, keep an eye out for the poll.
And stare into the souls and the eyes of the players as they look at you, judge you. I don't know, but they are looking to go away with this series with a victory. It's game 1. ONIC versus AP Bren. And let's see if this whole Angela first pick gambit will work out for APB.
It's super conditional right now where AP Bren's lineup, it looks a little weak, but it's actually really easy to execute. That's the big difference between these two lineups where ONIC is going to have to rely so much on the Minotaur timing of the Minoan Fury as well as, the new and unimproved Final Slash coming in from the Arlot. The new and what's the opposite of improved? The new and
New and unimproved makes
unimproved.
sense.
Yeah, that's the best I can do it.
Because it's slower now.
Way slower, right? So, but obviously, Gem has had success with it previously, but it's a big but if all of this hits, and if even one of these skills will miss out, they will lack that disengage. They will lack that engage,
Yes.
and that will mean that they're gonna have to rely on their auto attacks to make this lineup work here for ONIC. But obviously, they're auto attackers. if you're thinking about an auto attacker that's super reliable, Irifel is the one that you want.
Exactly.
So that's why I think it's okay, but at the same time, it has some weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. It's like with the conditions, if the conditions of the other 4 heroes aren't met, the Irithel is there to back you up. But you can't be so, how do I call this, too dependent on them, because if ever, as you mentioned, you still need to buy time for this Irithel.
Yeah.
On the side of AP Bren, though, I feel like their condition, you mentioned something earlier that like pinged in my head, where it's a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, just pull the trigger and here you go.
But that's if they can get the kills. They're up against a Faramis and Mino.
Get the kills for them to ramp up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I get that. They're so dependent on getting kills early on for this lineup of AP Bren.
That's the thing, though, too, is the fact that, you know, one thing I always say about Martis whenever he's picked up, and whoever is playing him, that kind of potential to snowball really hard in the early game can happen, especially when you have an Angela paired up with it, right? It kind of makes him, in a way, I don't want to say unkillable, but definitely much harder. And then the way that Decimate works, it's a lot to deal with, right? So you kind of have to be able to manage that, because even if Clint doesn't have the time to ramp up right away, the Martis is still, I feel like, much more of a threat than, for example, the Fredrin, right? In a way of when you get brought really low and you're kind of trying to out-sustain some of these fights because you know that the Valentina is probably going to have the Netherrealm as well, you're going to have a Heart Guard to deal with, then you still have to really watch out for some of that burst potential coming out from the Martis.
See the awesome people here at Shooting Gallery Studios, our crowd. Discussions regarding the conditions are set. Everything is clear. Who's going to walk away and pull off what they need to pull off here. For the game rotations, it's a quick level 2 spike already for a few to get a little bit of the XP from the XP lane of Flap.
Yeah, they're going to have to time this level 4 very early on, because at level 4 is obviously the Fredrin's going to have such a bigger advantage in terms of the team fight. So they're going to need that Ogwen factor. They're going to need the Heart Guard X factor here if they want to get ahead in the first turtle, which, judging from the lineup of AP Bren right now, that's exactly what they want to do. And they're trying to get Ogwen to level 4 as soon as possible for that to happen.
And you see all the boots on the side of AP Bren. Wilderness Blessing and Agility as well, so they want to move around the map fast.
You gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Oh,
see, that's already the threat right there that I'm talking about, right? So they're respecting it. Kaltizi was, you know, level 4 as well. So already getting a flicker down from Perkziza here before that turtle, 20 seconds away.
And I want to also add the early pickup of the Warrior Boots for a lot of players of ONIC. They know what's up. They know they're going to have to just deal with all the damage coming in from Clint, as well as you know, the Yuzhong and the Martis. All of that is physical, if not true damage. Fuse not going to be that much of a threat in the eyes of ONIC. And on their itemization, they're actually going to have some huge advantages in the early game.
Yeah, also have to watch out for which team's going to start diving the gold lane a little bit more to help out their gold laner, while Gem is in a tough spot as both teams, and both junglers are already playing around the first turtle.
Yeah, Few already has the advantage here, and that's exactly why you want to do this against the Faramis. You've got the early activation.
There's the Heart Guard with the Dragon Form already. Going to keep them at bay. Kyle TZ going to secure the turtle. Now going to go for the fight. Perks will fall. Flap TZ getting the first blood. Chasing down Gem. Can't get to him, though. The safety of the turret. They still might be happy at just getting some more resources after that.
One of the reasons why I don't really like this Arlot right now, and at this point you saw it was basically a no factor, even for a very talented player like Gem, right? He is going to be a non-factor in these early game fights, and if he doesn't get any momentum built up, he's also going to be a non-factor in the later parts of the game.
Yeah, when I saw that Black Dragon form with the Heart Guard, I was like, that's terrifying. What can you do to stop it? Not much.
That's true.
Not much, and like also the part to kind of consider here, especially with Zemblem, the focusing mark from Ogwen, like it makes it that much more devastating. Yeah, it's the early game. Yes, it's just a Yuzhong, but you know, when you, especially if he finds the right setup with the Petrify, all of that results into a ton of damage before you even have to worry about Kyle TZ coming in with a Decimate, right? Like that's something that happens, and really for ONIC have to deal with early on. There is a nice final slash though. Flap TZ could be in trouble.
Man.
There's the Heart Guard we were talking about. It's 2 versus 2 for now. Comes down the Appraiser's Wrath. Gem will get that kill. Oakland not able to keep Flap alive there.
Okay, that final slash was clutch. But in the grand picture of it all, what can ONIC do to convert it?
Yeah, that's a good one, because exactly what we talked about, right? If they let this R-Lot just stagnate there, they're not really going to get any value of it.
Yep.
Ryzen, he played up his strength on the early game Frederen, and he played it like a boss there. Even with the hard guard, I think even with Flap TZ's Shaw Essence, he did not stand a chance. But right now, they should have done that maybe a little bit later, in my opinion, where they could get advantage. Oh,
Few going to get dragged with Stampede, picking up the Minoan Fury. Won't result in anything after that. All this, though, Turtle now spawning.
All right, for second one is up here. A lot of jockeying around the mid position, so there might be some late ultimates coming in. Let's see what happens.
Okay, Dragon Form going to come through from Flap TZ. 4 members of ONIC here. They're going to fight for it. Nets also getting solo killed down below. Kyle TZ going to secure the turtle. They're going to battle it out. Netherrealm going to come through. On top of the hard guard, they find Perks Viva again. He falls. The rest of the team running for the hills. Gem still alive for now, but Ryzen will fall. They lose bodies. They lose the turtle.
we're seeing the weakness, right, of the ONIC lineup. Without the airfield normal attacker, all of these sets are just becoming nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're seeing the condition that you ticked out there, Rockhard, for APBR. It's just do what you gotta do and do what you can do. And they've done all of that. And the icing on the top of the cake was a solo kill onto Nets by the Clint, by Super Marco in the bottom lane, actually committing his flicker to go forward.
Yeah, all of these setups from Perk Zivan are nothing without the normal attackers. Like we mentioned earlier, it's like they're waiting to just die here.
Yeah. And then we saw their few actually taking away the Minoan Fury as well. This has gone opposite of what ONIC wanted to happen for the early game. And this is APBR fighting objectives really well, like what they're known for.
Again, itemization is on point here for ONIC. That's exactly what you want to do. But they're waiting for the items of Nets here to come in, to kick in, before their comp is going to do any good damage. And that's taking a while here, considering that I think Nets is being overpowered here by Super Marco in the laning phase.
Okay. ONIC has a little bit of time to recover, regenerate just a little bit, but APBR have control of the game. And this dive comp that APBR brought out, now that Super Marco didn't have a problem with the laning phase, actually won it, and he got another tower broken. Everything's set up for this Clint already.
Yeah, he's having a great time. You know, like I always like to say, yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
When the Clint comes through. Or is that you? You like to say that too?
Well, I think everyone likes saying yeehaw.
Everyone likes to say yeehaw.
You can't go wrong with saying yeehaw.
Yeehaw, right? But at that time, Super Marco specifically, I always like to say for the gold laners, if they can have that gold lane experience where, you know, even if he didn't get that solo kill there, he's relatively in a good spot because the rest of the team is doing such a great job across the map, right? This is going to be that third turtle going in the hands. Look at the focus, though, on the bottom side. Ogwin going to get caught.
Ooh.
Worth the trade, he says. Now they trade that third turtle of the game. They do get a turret here, so ONIC Philippines at least finding something once this minion wave marches in, if Nets can get it.
That's pretty smart of ONIC to go for that with the full knowledge that, you know what, APBR's going to go for that turtle. Yeah. It's going to be easy for us to take this.
He didn't even get the turret, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunate actually for ONIC that they didn't get that. But that was the right call. When you're behind so much, hey, here's a tip for the RG folks out there, for the people that we get to play with, because we're also normies. If it's by third turtle and the lead is massive, maybe try ganking the opposite lane instead. Try to push that instead. And that's what ONIC decided to do. It's just sad that they couldn't get the tower.
Yeah, that's usually the weakness, right, of some teams. They become a little bit predictable in that sense where you know they're ahead, they know they're ahead. They're going to go for these objectives right away. They're not going to wait for you. They're not going to set up that many traps. So you can play on the other side of the map here instead and get something for your team at the same time.
It's a consolation prize, though, at this point. Just a little bit of gold, a little bit less deaths, and ONIC will continue to remain playing defensive for the majority of the next few minutes. APBR, all I see now is just an error costing them, or maybe one really great setup by Perkziva and Super Friends combined. But, again, the question is, will they have the damage? Because Nets is still catching up to Super Marco, who's 2 levels ahead of the Irithel.
That's the biggest missing piece of this puzzle right now for ONIC Philippines. You know, you guys talked about it earlier. they just don't have any damage, right now, and that's kind of the unfortunate truth. And with this being such a disparity now in terms of gold and items, it's even more apparent, right? So not only have you given up the 3 turtles, you have no space to work with because you don't have a single turret, which, thinking they would have got that bottom one, but great job for AP Bren not to let that happen, because what all this results to is, again, the Lord's coming up in 10 seconds. ONIC Philippines not in the best position to even contest that. They might just be better to go ahead, stay on that defensive side, deal with the Lord, giving up the Lord, and then hopefully defend your base, because, again, all of this is really relying on Nets to get that 3rd, 4th item on this Irithyll, and then hopefully get a great setup utilizing what you have here.
Yeah, and you see there, Rockhard, ONIC still committing to the same plan. They knew they still couldn't contest it. No way yet.
Yeah, keep in mind though, ONIC, they have the tools to really survive. They've got the OG Netherrealm, and they've also got some pretty good healing coming in for the Minotaur. So if it comes to that, Death Ball, ONIC's Death Ball is definitely going to be at an advantage. It's all up to AP Bren to stop that from happening. It's all up to them to stop the inflow of gold. That's why they're so adamant to make sure that, let's keep these towers alive as much as we can. Make sure that Nets doesn't get the gold that he needs. Just starve out ONIC. That's the game plan of AP Bren right now.
Yeah, can AP Bren seal the deal, though? Again, going into this day, they got swept by RSG. Despite them controlling majority of those games, they weren't able to hold on, and they weren't able to, rather, close it out. Can AP Bren close it out now, though, against ONIC? 10 minutes in, still a massive lead for APB.
They're in a very decisive positioning. They're very, what do you call that? Very aggressive positioning. So maybe that's what's on their mind right now as well.
Like, end it now.
That's the... even with this, right, you can see the gold lane alone, you nearly have the 2,000 gold lead difference, right, in terms of gold lane alone. So that is going to play a part. They're going to have to deal with this. Flap T's going to get him to go. Look at Nets already being forced back there.
Ouch!
Lord's still going to be worked on. Turret going to take some hits, but ultimately, ONIC Philippines going to hold it together for this first Lord push.
All right, temp check, and it's a little bit too hot, Flap TZ got whittled down to maybe 20% in one cycle there. That's not a good sign for Bren as well.
Yeah, damage is available for ONIC, but the damage on Super Marco, man, with the Resurgence Fury, Endless Battle, and with the Malefic Roar as well. I think that was just like one full first skill.
One combo, yeah.
Yeah, one combo. Along with the enhanced basic attack coming in from Super Marco, it brought Nets down to like 40,
below half,
60-50%. Yeah, that hurt.
That hurt. And I'm a little bit surprised at the same time that ONIC didn't really pull the trigger there, considering that's exactly where they want to be. They want to be full on together on the lane and maybe have an outlier a bit far away on the other side of the map. And again, it's just ONIC being very, very safe here. Damage received, obviously, Ryzen, Perxiva. They're tanking up so much. With Super Prince's insurance policy of the Netherrealm, they actually can do a pretty good, they can survive a good 10, 20 seconds of just them in the front line just absorbing all that damage.
Yeah.
So Nets has to keep up, man.
Let's see if he can. Let's see if he has already. But at this point, with Kautizi already TPing his own teammate, and I think that's a good showing of how much in the lead AP Bren are at this point. 12 minutes in. If you're only joining us now, it is a 7,000 gold lead for APB. They've taken all of the major neutral objectives so far in this game. It looks like they're on the way to getting another. ONIC still grasping the straws and trying to find a way to make a comeback here. They're trying to split and open up the map, going for side lane pressures instead.
Yeah, the information is going to be there. Of course, you've got Ogwin spotting them out. They're going to go ahead and just call it back. So they got to deal with this. The minion will get the turret, it looks like, up there on the tier 1. That's down, but Lord secured again for AP Bren. So ONIC Philippines on the defense, right? How long can they do this? I think that's one of the biggest questions. And every time you see a team down this much, nearly 8,000 gold, this is really your only option, Try to buy as much time. If that's, 5 minutes, then so be it. But at least you're still in the game.
And what's super funny, because right now AP Bren's up almost 8K. I'm still worried about them because this has been a trend, right?
Yeah.
This has been the trend of AP Bren. So advantages in the early game, but then they just slip up. Especially with a lineup like ONIC, their late game presence is enormous.
Yeah, with all the sustain they have. But again, the key word here is damage. Already Divine Glaive picked up by Super Prince, but Super Marco's up to a Blade of Despair. So will, at this point, now be the sustain enough? Because that's a lot of damage on the marksman.
Oh.
Ouch!
Oh.
Oh, my goodness!
That's it right there. That's Clint Morgan.
Yep.
He put perks to half.
Oh, man.
Well, they're going to push in it once again, focusing on this top turret. Flapteezy with the hard guard, going to push Nets back the best he can. Turret going to fall here. Lord still up as well. Bottom went down. They hold on to the mid inhibitor turret. Lord will finally go down. ONIC Philippines holding on to one base turret.
Wow.
All right. So we're seeing exactly where I think we were talking about here, Gem just being a non-factor in these engages, because even if he can...
Oh,
Oh my God!
Super Marco taken out in an instant, and Flapteezy to follow. You mentioned the late game potential. There it was, Rockhart.
Right on cue.
He took that personally. What do you mean, no non-factor? Black. Final slash from out of nowhere. Again, the hidden gem. There's a reason why he was hyped up heading into the series, why he's been touted for his performances in the recent weeks.
Straight into the face of Super Marco and mine as well.
Oh, that is exactly what we were talking about before we even got into this game. Number one was both these teams have experience having these leads for a majority of a game and then it dropping the ball, slipping out of their hands. And ONIC Philippines, that's the first step. That's actually step number 2 towards what they need to do, right? They're getting a little bit more confidence here. They've shrunk the gold lead by about 3,000 gold. And we might actually see them for the next Lord try to contest it there.
Yeah, they are. Rockhart, are they in the scenario to contest now for the next Lord? I think they are.
They're actually pretty good right now as a death ball, but they're going to be a little bit vulnerable. Right now, their base is very exposed. Man, that deserves a super slow-mo right there. Straight into a place where AP Bren can't really react because the hard guard's not available anymore. Gem read into that beautifully.
Wow. And now because of that one play set up by Gem of ONIC, they are now in a position to contest.
There we go.
Still a bit of vulnerability though, as Rockhart mentioned. Let's see what they can pull off here, or will AP Bren still secure this one?
The waves actually look really good for for ONIC at this point, so they have some time. But if AP Bren keeps dancing this, they will have to come back to defend eventually.
Yeah, they're going to have to watch out for this. Lord now, less than half health here. Few also holding on to them. Noyan Fury will look to use it as well. You got to keep an eye on both of them. Flapteezy with the hard guard, going to push ONIC Philippines back the best they can. Still Ryzen trying to hold the front for this Lord dance. Going to go, and Gem goes in with a huge final slash as well. Ryzen gets the Lord, and the fight breaks out. Both Nether Realms being used as well. Perks will fall, and now Kyle takes when he falls. One down for AP Bren, multiple down for ONIC Philippines. It's only Ryzen and Super Fritz now back up in the base, but Ryzen will fall.
Yep. ONIC got the Lord, but I think AP Bren is still going to be getting that win on that clash. 3,000 gold though, the gold difference definitely thinning out, but will ONIC respond in time?
They're just going to push it. Super Fritz, they don't care about Super Fritz, they don't care about the Lord. AP Bren will not let it happen. They take game 1.
This winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance. Red Dead, but still no redemption for ONIC as APB on the back of their Clint Morgan getting that game 1.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Nice catch. I like it. I
got you.
Clint Morgan.
All right.
Dude.
So we're seeing definitely not the cleanest game.
Yeah.
I think that actually could have actually broke out either way. Depending on whether or not Super Marco survived, which for the most part he actually was off screen.
Yeah.
So I can't really gauge what he was happening to this guy. But yeah, Bren, they knew what they had to do. They knew that, I love that ONIC waited for the timer of the hard guard, and they were trying to wait it out.
Yeah.
Flap was flying out, waiting for the hard guard to come out, but eventually Flapteezy still found the engagement that we were looking for here for AP Bren. And again, the most important thing was Super Marco was alive.
Yeah. Super Marco staying alive.
Yeehaw!
He was actually taken out of the fight by Gem. He was getting chased by that Arlot, but somehow he was able to withstand it long enough. And kudos to the rest of APB, specifically Few. He landed massive shadow strikes there. Like, the reason why we saw it was, okay, they used the ultimate of the Faramis. They got cult, not cult alter.
Netherrealm.
Netherrealm, thank you. And then suddenly, they're back to non-ghost form. They got bursted down so quickly by Few.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. You know, that like you think we were having that discussion before the Lord fight broke out. You know, they're probably gonna contest this. Like they're relatively in a decent position, and then you saw the team fight, how it unfolded, and it completely, with what you said with Few, it completely took out the Netherrealm, basically, right? I mean, it was gone in an instant, and then you just saw body after body after body drop from ONIC Philippines. So it was very. I still feel like maybe it was the right choice to actually contest that.
Yes, it was.
But the choreography of the fight just wasn't in their favor once it unfolded.
Yeah, we saw some toes got stepped on there.
Yeah. And it also looked like ONIC might have gotten a little bit caught off guard by the fact that AP Bren decided to turn and fight the heroes instead. But it's up to Rockhart now to explain that game number 1. Rockhart, say something smart.
Can I say something just a little bit below average? But, thank you so much for that. Here is the analysis for game number 1. And it was fun to watch. No, not gonna lie, I mean, we all know who came out on top there, but for me, it was still very much a coin toss. MVP for that one, I think, still definitely gonna be Few. Like you guys mentioned, it was so crucial. His catches on that one, these stats I don't even care about the stats right now. I care about exactly what Few did in those clutch moments. And another, again, a living example of where age just doesn't really make that much of a difference as long as you know what you're doing. And yeah, that's why we still win, and that's why you can still beat up kids in the ranked games. That's exactly what you're gonna expect from Few here, and that's exactly why I think that Few is that Valentina pick was so crucial, just to ensure that even though the Faramis is gonna get picked up, it was still gonna be a bit of a fair fight. As you can see, in the early game, obviously Few wouldn't be able to do that much. And even with the hard guard on Ogwen, I think there was still some shining moments that Ryzen could have actually just gone straight into the jungle. But these were all very much controlled by AP Bren. Their control around the mid and their objective control in this game was phenomenal. Up until the very end where it wasn't. Just because, ONIC was actually hitting their power spikes a little bit earlier than we thought they would, and they were getting to a point where Nets is becoming a very formidable, normal attacker here. And again, Gem with these small moments of brilliance that you can't really put to numbers that results into the fight just breaking out even. Even after this one, I was looking for Super Marco. Oh my god, he's alive. Right there, he's getting hunted down by Gem. I didn't know if he was going to live or not, but Ogun made sure of that. And after that one, after that Lord, it didn't matter where the Lord went. It was just going to be AP Bren winning that out with the massive numbers advantage. The bodies just are going to have the advantage here, even if Super Prince does survive, which he doesn't here, with the help, that's courtesy of Flap TZ. It was still going to be AP Bren coming out on top, no matter where the Retribution landed, no matter who got that Lord. And the tower takes, I think this was exactly why we were talking about here in the early game, where AP Bren made sure that Nets was starved for gold all game long. It was so crucial for that tower count to be as low as possible. He doesn't get the global gold. He doesn't get that global objective gold as well coming in from the turtle, from the Lord. Means that the win condition here for ONIC on making sure that Nets was super fed super early did not happen. It came to a point where it was 15 minutes before, we could call a fight that could go in favor of ONIC. And that's exactly where AP Bren, I think, shines, right? Their early game to mid-game control, they know where, or they know when their opponent is going to be very, very strong. And they played into that as much as they could by winning out these lanes, win out these objectives. It was a very characteristic Bren game for me, to be honest. Yep, monster gold stolen. It was also Kyle TZ making sure that Ryzen was in control. I mentioned that Ryzen was one of the heroes here in this game, or one of the players here in this game that could have broken out. And he was pretty much 100% in the team fights. And Kyle TZ was very instrumental to make sure that he wasn't, out of the leash. He wasn't unleashed by ONIC here. And that's also a reason why ONIC can't really like go forward too much. Ryzen was just not as fed as we thought he should be, considering that almost most of the goal was coming into him as well as to Nets. So yeah, I think that Nets just came in a little bit too late here, and most of the fights were won by AP Bren. And that's exactly why I think we can still talk about how Bren just won that through just pure math.
I think we can also look at it at the point of, I remember one of our discussion points was that the gold lane matchup would be so crucial. Nets just lost in the gold lane against Super Marco.
Yeah, number one was, obviously, I talked about that, right?
Yeah.
They lost out on the gold lane, the global gold from the turret, even lost out on the matchup.
It was tough too because right before that game-ending team fight happened, you know, Nets, like you mentioned, he came in a little bit too late because he had just picked up the Malefic Roar, I think it was, and the Wind of Nature right before that fight. So it's like if they could have maybe bought, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, I feel like they would have been in a better position because we were already seeing things fall into place, especially with Gem on that R-Lot. But, you know, unfortunately, it was a little bit too late for them. AP Bren wasn't going to let the ball slip out of their hands that time.
Yeah, well, folks, that was game number 1. But, of course, MDL Philippines actually just ended their regular season. So if you want to watch out for them, here's how. Nice how.
You can like, follow, and subscribe to the official accounts of MDL Philippines for Facebook. It's facebook.com/MDLPH.official. And for YouTube, it's at official MDL Philippines. Can't wait for their playoffs.
Yeah, man, it's been great. They've been doing a lot heading up to it. And, of course, we've also seen them guest here in the MPL. Watch out for the MPL-PH playoffs. Hey, I think we have something here with Infinix as well.
Yes, this is also brought to you by the official sponsor of MPL Season 12, Infinix Mobile. Featuring their newly launched ultra-clear smartphone camera, the Infinix 030 series with 4K, 60 FPS, and 50 megapixel front camera. That is amazing for a front camera. Of course, get ready to capture your own story. So thank you once again to Infinix.
Yes, we're up to 4K now. I'm just at 720p and 1080p.
Wow, imagine phones 4K.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is
Wild, bro.
That's technology.
Yeah. It's wild how times have changed. No, it suddenly just hit me, dude. You know how you have those moments where you realize, wow, I'm old.
Yeah, everyone's recording 4K now.
Yeah, I remember when we were all just trying to get really good video quality in our flip phones, you know?
Yeah. And I remember when people first heard of 4K and they're like, I'm not going to mess with it because it takes up so much like space and you know, you have to deal with this and that. Only certain like phones or cameras can do that. Yeah, now you can have it in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, if you want to capture some really awesome memories when the World Championship comes here in the Philippines, get yourself an Infinix phone. And then at the same time, you can play a lot of Mobile Legends bang with it. You know, when you meet up with the global MLBB community and you've got people from all over the world coming here to play. So yeah, go ahead and make sure you get that. Story of the game, though, or the series, is that ONIC are now going to be heading into a game number 2 against an AP Bren that look like they've sharpened up the things or the qualities that made them one of the most feared teams heading into the season. We're seeing more of that again, and this time, Rockhard actually being able to close out the game.
Finally, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're an AP Bren fan, you can finally breathe. Oh my gosh, they're back. They're a little bit. They're getting there. Obviously, it wasn't as dominant as we expected AP Bren to be coming into this season. I know everyone was, we were coming into week 1, and AP Bren came out from huge victories.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my god, they're going to clean up house.
Yeah.
But no, it's been super duper close. And this is exactly the form I was expecting AP Bren to be in, especially coming after their international victories.
It's funny that you mentioned, too, because I was kind of wondering myself, what was going on with AP Bren? Why did it seem like, yes, again, before this Game 1 win, they were tied points-wise with ONIC Philippines, right? 15-15. But still, relatively, I would say, before the season started, a lot of people were putting Bren probably at the top of the standings alongside Echo, right? And then you see them kind of go through this struggle throughout so far, right? The majority of the regular season. And again, like we talked about, they don't have this, like, 10-man roster where they can just change things and out if they want to.
Yeah.
And that was part of the strategy, right, of especially the coaching staff, Coach Ducky and Bren out there, and what their game plan was, right? They wanted to build this roster, this team with the synergy that they have and that they've shown now locally and, internationally as well. And the proof is there. But that's something that can be said is because when you're kind of limited on what you can switch around and you have these obstacles in front of you through the regular season, you just have to figure it out, you know? And I feel like this is one of those things where people are like, man, what's going on with AP Bren? They have these crazy leads. They're very good objectively, you know, especially in the early portion of the game. But why is it? Like, why is it now multiple times throughout the season they've let the ball go and dropped games with an amazing lead? And this at least showcases maybe they solved that, right? We'll have to see if they can do it again. Again, this is just one game out of the series.
All right, so that's AP Bren. For ONIC, though, rock hard. Their first picks were Irthel, Fredrin, Faramis on the red side. We still don't know. They might switch sides here. What does ONIC now need to do to force a game number 3?
If they're going to do this, I hope they don't telegraph it, because I knew it was going to happen. Those first 3 picks, just add more tanks, exactly what they did, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if they're going to do something like this, make sure that Bren doesn't know up until the very end.
Yeah.
Where if you're going to pick up an airfill here, maybe an airfill would have been pretty obvious, but maybe slot in slot 4.
Yeah.
And then just add the element of surprise. ONIC knows how to draft. They just don't know how to draft in a surprising way. I've never been super surprised by an ONIC draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've never been like, whoa, did they just do that? No. Even their enemies are thinking that way.
Yeah.
So that's me for ONIC. I hope they can do that. They start working that into their draft. You know what I mean?
It feels like the only time we actually got that from ONIC this season was when they started picking up the Lilia more.
Oh, the Lilia. Yeah, I wasn't here there.
Yeah. Oh. It's all right. It's all right. You were getting accolades for our country.
Previous.
You were
Yeah,
representing the
previous one.
country.
You were representing the country. Filipino esports athlete rock hard there, by the way. We're not messing around here. That's legit. Go to their pages and see what happened to them.
That is weird. Anyway, thank you so much.
It's an honor.
It's an honor. Thank you.
So yeah, that while all that was happening, yeah, I don't remember ONIC, previously before that week. I don't remember ONIC surprising me at all in the draft.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true. That's true.
And that's something that I think they should keep integrating into their draft if they want to get these Ws.
Okay, so if ever for ONIC, pick your gold laners, maybe in the second phase. The Faramis early on,
Surprises.
though, again, the Valentina was open. They could have picked that alongside the Fredrin in their first 2 picks. They ended up giving it to APB. And even though they were up against an Angela and Valentina, they didn't really give a lot of difficulty for the side of AP Bren because, I mean, they have a little bit of sustain, the control ability. We know how annoying Angela it is to invade up against an Angela.
Yeah.
So, hey, that Angela Gambit by AP Bren, rush first pick, actually worked out for them.
Paid off.
It paid off.
Yeah.
To be fair, again, it's so hard to do any wrong if you're an Angela pick right now. It feels like it can come up against anything.
Yeah. And I feel like AP Bren also supplemented it very well. Paired up with the Yuzong, so good. Welcome to the draft. Game number 2, and now they're switching sides.
There you go. Finally, ONIC respecting that, adding to the ban counter here of the Angela. And that's exactly what I thought they would do, because right now they're going to have to make it hard for Ogwin to work. And I feel like Ogwin just had such an easy game here. I didn't see him pulling any, he didn't pull any muscles coming into this one.
Yeah.
Didn't have to, right? Again, that game was very dominant for the majority of it, if not 90%, I would say, right? There was some fight back from ONIC Philippines, but maybe this is how they can start it better off this time for them, right? Especially, I'm interested in what do they feel like is worth that first priority pick here now that they're on the blue side.
What are going to be good options here available for them?
I mean, Valentina and Faramis are still something very high priority for the first
Matilda.
2 picks. But there's the Matilda. Oh yeah, didn't get banned out. Beautiful.
Yeah. Great first pickup there. This opens up the Baksha, though, for AP Bren, if ever.
Yeah, it's an easy Kaltizi hero.
Yeah. There, Baksha Valentina, as expected for AP Bren. Now for ONIC, fast pickings going up around
Fast
here.
picks, right. We're not even breathing yet.
Very quick.
Matilda's great.
Matilda's great. Plug and play, right? Plug and play in almost any lineup right now.
Yeah.
That's a Matilda.
It's still, to be honest, it still throws me off a little bit with Matilda, like how long she's circling eagles. Like, it just,
Right?
you know,
I
like,
still don't know when.
It's such a deterrent. You're just seeing her going, "Caw-caw,"
Yeah.
and it's still going.
and she's
Still
still
going.
going.
How long is this going to go?
There's, okay, good answer, though.
Yep,
They pick
open
up the export.
And Martis, just to make sure that you kind of can capitalize onto that aggressiveness that is allowed by a Matilda.
Yeah, all right, so AP Bren here. What will their gold laner be? Will they lean towards Claude? Will they lean towards Brody? Again, the Matrix is still going to be an option if they want to go for it.
That,
But they... Oh, whoa! Okay, that's surprising.
See,
All
so that's why Rockhart's point again. You don't have that reaction yet to basically ONIC Philippines just yet. Right? There isn't these big surprises just yet. But I will say that even as we look at the draft index here, ONIC Philippines, I like the first phase better now for them than the previous game.
I agree. This is actually better as well for AP Bren, because of the fact that you can't really throw these R-lots anymore willy-nilly, because you can't beat a Uranus just like that.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of effort to beat this Uranus down.
Not much you can do. I've experienced that firsthand. I was like, oh, I'm up against Uranus. I think I can pick R-lot here. Nope. Was not fun.
Yeah,
it was memorable in all the wrong ways.
It's going to be just tough times ahead here, from what I can see for ONIC here, at least in the very early stages of the game, up to the mid. But at the same time, you know what? Their index just shows that their team fight is kind of on par, and they've got better burst. They can have more possibilities to burst them down, but then again, that is a Uranus. I gotta keep going back to Uranus.
Yeah, and we know when it comes to this hero, you are considering two things. One, the fact that he's one of the most, even though he's not known as a split-pushing kind of hero, the fact that he can literally just stay in lane and just keep pushing minions, he's just an absolute unit, exactly. And along with that now too, Rockhard, is that, bro, when everyone in ONIC is diving, Flapty is just going to be looking for the opposing marksman. That's why the bans on these specific marksmen are so good.
Yeah, actually banning out these marksmen just make sure that no matter who this is, it's going to be so hard for them to actually meet it up. They might actually be forcing the Irifel again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm reading right now, because they need maybe one solid tank. And
yeah. Oh. Whoa. Okay. Rafaela, is that gonna be? It's either Bruno or no, they took out the Bruno. Could be a
Bruno's out.
Beatrix. Yeah.
Yeah, Bea. Or the Clint. Nah, maybe no. Maybe not. They need more sustain, damage dealing. They need someone to break towers from the long range. They just don't have that right now.
I mean, not only that, but AP Bren's lineup just alone. Let's say even, your Valentina is going to go ahead and take the Circle Eagle, right? Copies the Matilda. There's so much mobility over here for AP Bren that you want to be able to handle that. You want to be able to deal with that.
All right. Piece of trivia for you. When playing against AP Bren this season, most teams ban Kyle TZ's heroes. 4 out of 5 most banned heroes against AP Bren are Kyle TZ. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Farsa, and there's a Claude for ONIC.
Iksha. It's a lineup. It's a beautiful lineup for an Iksha. There's so many people that can keep you alive, so many people to front for you.
But there's so much dive and poke.
And that's Irifel. All right.
Again, mobility. I think that's the name of the lineup
for
AP Bren here.
It's a red side. It's the same story from the previous game. It's a lineup made for an Irifel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But just not picked up in that first phase.
Yeah.
Saved.
It's now a little bit more like, can we slot in the Irithel? Now we can.
Now we can.
All right, here comes the index. A bit more rounded out here, but AP Bren still lacking in the burst as the last one, but looks good on the team fight, early to mid, and sustain damage.
This is the highest level analysis I can put for ONIC. They have a fun lineup. I can have some fun here.
Oh, they do, yes.
Yeah, so they can be a bit more creative, obviously, because of the Matilda as well. And they can do some crazy stuff. And more sustainable. X-Borg, great for the laning. Martis, great for that early to mid. And again, the late game is my only question mark here, I guess, for ONIC. But other than that, they're going to have fun.
Yep. ONIC's fun here, I feel like. If they can find a way and AP Bren aren't careful with taking care of their side lanes, it's very split pushable. You have a lineup here that's built for team fighting when you think about it, but one key piece in the Claude that can always threaten the macro game.
Ah, yeah, the Claude. Oh, beautiful. But my mind always keeps going to that Farsa who's flying around on the guiding wind.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I was thinking about.
Do that.
That's why I said it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun and
it's
like just dual airlines, basically. I mean, at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, in a way,
people flying around.
Yeah, as I was saying, like AP Bren was quite mobile themselves, but in essence, so is ONIC Philippines. So I feel like with this lineup specifically for both of them, it's going to be a lot of like this kind of push and pull between both teams, like seeing who can get what out of each other before they actually utilize all their mobility, all their healing that they have, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, Ryzen already pushed out. Emblems here, a lot of agility on the side of ONIC Rockhard.
Yeah, they want to go fast because they're Onyx and they love Sonic.
That's true.
That's from an interview. That's exactly what they say.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh.
That's,
Okay.
that's why we thought they were hedgehogs, but
That's
they're
right.
actually porcupines.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. You know
So-
what I want to see?
What?
I want to see Gem while spinning around in the last Insanity flying using the guiding wind. That would be
there it is.
terrifying.
That would be. I actually never saw that. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that yet for some reason.
Let's see if it's possible. By the way, mid and roam go Vroom. Most used tier 2 talent in patch 1.6.20 with a use rate of 31.30%. It is commonly used by mid laners and roamers. That is Wilderness Blessing for you.
Yeah, you can do that here. Just don't do that on your ranked games because if you do that on your ranked games, you just don't have damage.
I like it.
I like it. I still do.
I use it on my guard.
No, I mean the ones that I play against. Or the
Oh,
pro play,
okay.
they don't have damage
I
for
get
some
you.
reason.
Oh, in the mid?
Oh, look at that.
There's some damage right there. They're going to be in trouble. Already getting that flicker out. No kills just yet. Ryzen, though, working on that turtle here. AP Bren. It's going to come down to a show off.
Oh.
Kyle Teasy securing it under the nose of Ryzen. Already going to force that last Insanity out as well. AP Bren takes the first turtle.
He's so menacing, right? Flap
Yeah.
Easy just walking straight to your face right before the retribution battle happens.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, go ahead, try. It's so scary.
Yeah, that was a flex. I'm not sure if our mics picked it up, but there were a bunch of oohs in the crowd once the Retry battle was won by Kyle Teasy. Because it looked like he literally was just standing there and said,
Yeah.
Retry, mine.
It's so easy. I feel like this is a lineup that enables that so much as well. And there's only so much that Perk Ziva can do. He can only just keep people alive. He can't really stop the dive from happening.
Yeah, again, at this point, because this has been the trend so often when teams play against AP Bren, you want to be able to go ahead and secure that turtle. And I know that's what Ryzen wanted to do, right? But because of the poke potential as well from AP Bren, it kind of gave them that favor to just do that for that first turtle. So, luckily, no one has gone down just yet. So if they can keep it together, lead into the next objective if that's what they're looking for. Again, they have the tools to find a pick-off as well. But ONIC Philippines might be a little bit playing on the safe side for now.
And right now there's a lot of action around the middle portion of the map that seems like AP Bren, they're not in a rush to actually try and stop Nets. They're confident in their ability to be able to secure the turtles and then build their lead from there. But I still feel like they have to respect it. It is still a Claude that potentially could be the biggest problem of AP Bren by around the 9th, 11th minute mark.
Also a huge comfort hero for Nets. Way before
Yeah.
all of this started, he played that Claude to a T. So, yeah, timers definitely are active for both teams. Like, who's going to pick it up first? Because Irifel, I think compared to Claude, can kind of ramp up faster, especially in the laning phase where Irifel can output so much more damage.
Okay, big fight potentially coming up as Flap TZ is cutting up
Oh.
top. There's Perks. Whoa!
Okay, gonna go in with that circling eagle. Fuel gonna use that last insanity that he took. Won't be able to find anything just yet. Has to flicker around, but the response from Gem. Gonna chase him down. Few falls here. First blood for Gem. ONIC Philippines on the run as well. Oakland, the one to fall here. 2 down for AP Bren. But they're looking to clap back. They find Gem, take him out. It's a 2-for-2 trade. No one taking the turtle just yet. Both junglers still up.
That looks so good, but ONIC actually exhausted so many things for them to get to the point where they can chase. So it looked good, but they didn't really get the results that they wanted.
Yeah, they committed a lot without knowing where Super Marco exactly was. It allowed him to use his ultimate and just push, and now this is what we were talking about. Nets will be split pushing up top while AP Bren get objectives.
See if they can find Super Marco here. Could be in trouble.
Trouble.
Circle heal again. Couple hits away. Still gonna be up. Good heal though. Comes through. Ogwin now on the run. Feathered airstrike popping as well. No one going down for AP Bren. They might keep the pressure here in the bottom side. ONIC though happy with that top turret. Kyle Teasy gonna keep them at bay. Some of the other members still rotating, but they call it off for now.
It was one of those moments where everyone was looking at a specific place on the screen. The HP bars of the Irifel.
Wow.
That was funny.
A massive holy healing coming in from Ogwin. Clutch. And good thing Super Marco also changed the direction where he was walking. So you saw him like right at the edge of that feathered airstrike. I was like, no, I'm out of here. It's a good thing that he was able to get away, but that was a great call by Super Fritz to try and take him down with a feathered airstrike. Just couldn't reach that airthel, of course. And now, still, what we were talking about. The threat of ONIC's macro game here with the Claude and the split pushing that they're known for, especially in the season, has to be something that FlapTZ on this Uranus has to do with a little bit better. But so far, all the situations have called for Flap to be with AP Bren.
The big bonus here is that, wait, hold up. I think they won in the fight, but yeah.
Oh,
So you see what I'm talking about there? Just a little bit.
That's what I was saying earlier, guys. I was like, you know, it's going to be the battle of push and pull, right, from both teams. Like, they're going to do that. They're going to try to heal through it, kind of extend some of these team fights the best they can. But ultimately, those big impact resources of ultimates will be down, and then it kind of comes down to how they play around that.
So as I was talking about earlier, the biggest advantage that Nets has compared to game number 1, he doesn't need to face Super Marco head-on.
Yeah.
He can just go up on other lanes and farm.
Oh, they want to go head-on here, but nothing. You know, again, utilizing that. We'll see if there's a response. So far, none. But the Turtle's going to be up. Feathered Airstrike comes down. Few holding on to the Circling Eagle as well. Nets fall. Again, like the game before. It's a solo kill off camera. And that's going to be the third Turtle as well, going in the hands of AP Bren.
That is massive. Super Marco is just flexing on Nets right now. 2 games where we saw Nets lose a 1v1 in a very crucial moment. Although he could have gotten some help by KyleTZ, but now it looked like it was just Super Marco. All Marco.
Man, Super Marco can do no wrong in this series so far, from what I can tell.
Oh, they stole it too.
Oh, that's just insult to injury right
man,
there.
AP Bren is now just running along with it. And it's good to see that they picked up the pace because now they're respecting the macro and minion management of ONIC, something they've really shined with and why they've had the success that they've had because of how well they're managing the rest of the map during objective fights. But AP Bren keep flexing on them during the objective fights that those macro pushes, those split pushes, aren't really amounting to much now. The pressure's still there, but AP Bren's just winning fights so much more.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to maybe one major mistake here for AP Bren because right now, they got a grip at the game, especially with FlapTZ running around the map unchecked, left, right, and center. You just don't know when a wild Uranus is going to come at you.
Yeah, that's the job. He's doing it. Oh, the stun!
Baptism going to come through. Gem also has immortality, so it's going to be fine. Nothing happened here just yet. And, I mean, at this point in the game, too, AP Bren will find things if they can. If not, it's better that they just wait for the Lord, right? They obviously are starting to garner themselves a little bit of an advantage as well in terms of gold. So they'll play around it. Few also holding on to that Circling Eagle himself.
Wow. Ogun did a really good thing there, just a little bit. He actually cut the minion wave and disrupted its flow just so that the minion waves in the bottom are pushed a little bit more forward. It's a small thing, but that looked really good for Ogun.
Yeah, right now Ogun is definitely going to have to just patrol a lot more, a lot better. And as long as he can do that, there's no one that actually can take him by surprise. That's the fun thing about Ogun on the Rafaela right now. No one can like go straight to his face then stun him nonstop, right? So the Rafaela is basically untouchable. And it's becoming so hard for ONIC to engage on him, as you can see, with especially with Flap on the sides. Just I don't know what to deal with right now if you're ONIC.
You see FlapTZ, he's always just constantly looking at the top side and wherever Nets is split pushing. Now let's see, it's 4v4, but Nets might be on the way here to help out ONIC.
Want to force it.
Oh, this is going to be tough. Again, Feathered Airstrike going to come down. Few using that Circling Eagle himself. They're looking to cut them off here. Still going to ignore the Lord for a little bit longer. Now KyleTZ forcing him back. FlapTZ still holding Nets at the mid lane. Lord
Super Marco.
Through. Yep, a little reset. Super Marco there, going to push it. Still forcing the members of ONIC Philippines back here. Now Lord, less than half health. Nets, not even a part of the fight, decided to go ahead and push up from the top side. They're going to go for it. KyleTZ trying to get Gem. His immortality is going to be popped here. And a Lord, it looks like it's going to be secured by KyleTZ. Nets getting that tier 2 turret down, but his team is now dealing with it as Gem fell.
What a play there by ONIC, but AP Bren again still just flexing on them in the objective team fights. This Nets is split pushing, he's breaking towers, but it's not that big of a threat. You saw there, Rockhard. At one point, Flap was just like, yeah, I can just give this up.
And no, again, this Uranus pick is just so smart. I have to bring it up. You don't feel it, but he's just controlling the map all by himself.
Yes.
He's controlling all of these lanes, and there's very little that ONIC can do.
Yeah, he's basically like just, like I said, he's a unit, right? He's a super powered minion at this point. Gonna push him back here. He's too menacing. Super Marco grabbing a kill. 4-0-1 now, having a massive game on this Irithyll as they get ready to push in with the Lord on the top side.
Good effort from from Nets there, but yeah, it didn't really result to much, didn't it?
Yeah. Threatening to end is AP Bren. Ultimate still available. No feathered airstrike for Super Prince. Here comes the Lord, and here comes APB. They're still not pulling away.
Gem gonna have to force it back here. Feathered airstrike trying to keep them at bay. They hold on to the turret though. It's a couple hits away.
Yep.
But ONIC holding on.
It's important that they already popped the boom booms, because if you pop the boom booms, it's gonna make your pushes so much easier. I think even the bottom side was, if I remember correctly. No, items-wise, you can see that Nets is still struggling to catch up here. He's going to lock in that Wind of Nature soon, so maybe that's going to give him the confidence that they need to actually fight in a straight-up battle, because it feels like they're just pulling and pulling and pulling non-stop without any results going to ONIC, and AP Bren just winning out these clashes.
Oh, that's so true. Nets, one of the biggest problems he has on him right now is if he finally does decide to join in the fights and ONIC say, you know what, I think we need a little bit more of your damage. He has 2 Blade Armors to go up against. There's a Blade Armor on Kyle TZ, a Blade Armor on Flap TZ as well. So the beefy boys of Bren have itemized really well against the Claude.
They're going to find Perziva here, pushing him back. All this for that orange buff. You can see how decisive, though, AP Bren's rotation can be if they want to. And that's something to deal with. So both buffs looking to be stolen here from the hands of ONIC Philippines.
AP Bren also just having such an easy time avoiding these last insanities, avoiding the feathered airstrikes. It feels like it's second nature to them now.
Yeah, I think the movement speed of the Holy Healing from the Rafaela helps a lot as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And few, it's just like, yeah, I know every time you see me, you want to use a feathered airstrike, so I have my dash just ready.
Super Friends having a hard time just making things happen. Oh, I said it. Now it's gonna happen. No,
what's gonna happen?
It's not. No, the moment you call something out, you know, Super Friends is probably not gonna.
And then he gets the Lord.
And then he gets the Lord with the last
If he gets
hit.
it here, I will be scared. Can you please predict me winning $1 million?
Let's call that later on.
All right.
Yeah.
Actually, not just for me. For all of our viewers out there, $1 million, always good. But who will find the $1 million play here? This Lord is crucial for ONIC to contest, but AP Bren are not giving them any room.
Flap Teasy just doing what you do on a Uranus, keeping him at bay. So Lawrence still going to be worked on. Kyle Teasy holding it into place. Ryzen trying to wait for his own angle here. Feathered Airstrike going to come through from the Super Prince. They know they don't have that now. So AP Bren playing with that advantage. They're still keeping things at bay. Keep an eye also on Super Marco getting in position here on the Irithyll.
Wow, questionable feathered airstrike, but let's see, it might be able to come back just in time because AP Bren are in no rush to get this Lord.
Well, I think they should, because right now Super Friends should have that back up soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what AP Bren's waiting for here.
Well, I think this is the go. Super Marco going to jump in, pushing him back a little bit further. Perziva and a Gem trying to be that front line. Ryzen as well. Lord now still less than half health, being held by Kyle Teasy. They just keep healing. Ogwin gonna have to flicker out. They're still going for it. Lord being held.
Wow.
Perziva looking on the side. This is a very extensive Lord
it.
fight. Gem,
Oh,
Immortality
that's
gonna be popped. And they're gonna be careful with that. Few gonna poke as well. They're getting almost everything out of here. Still, the spacing is in favor of Marco. Gonna jump in, forcing them completely on the retreat. Few goes in as well, takes a ride. Kyle Teasy gonna get the Lord, and AP Bren in a very long Lord dance pushes ONIC Philippines on the defense once again.
Wow. ONIC could not find any room, and you felt it every time Nets would see either Flap or Kyle before Kyle started pulling the Lord away. He can't even get close or whittle down because of all these blade armors, these 2 blade armors on the side of AP Bren.
What actually amazed me was the moment that Super Marco just decided to walk straight to them.
Yeah.
Without anyone in front. It's like, they know when they can go and they know when they can't. And that's just amazing if you think about it, because the macro mindset that's coming into these players, where all right, there's no threat in front of me. I can just walk to their faces and flex on them.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And we go back to the Uranus pick that we mentioned here. It is the biggest boon or the biggest problem for ONIC right now. The Flap is a unit.
See if they can defend this. They're already losing their base turret on the top side. Holding on the best they can. AP Bren waiting for the next wave to push in here. We'll see if they press this situation. ONIC Philippines going to have to approach this very carefully. They're going for it. Flaptee's going to be forced out here. Perxiva not going to be able to find the connection he was looking for as well, but they hold on to the mid turret.
I feel like we've had so many fights, but it's only 2-5.
Yeah.
The kill score.
That's the power of, honestly, the Uranus and also the Rafaela.
That's true.
Like, the sustain is there. Another airstrike going to come through. A couple members quite low, but still looking for the follow-up. Few somehow still alive. Perxiva going to go ahead and use a Circling Eagle. Can't find what they're looking for just yet. Last Insanity comes down as well. Super Marco unleashing. No one going down yet, as Rockhard said. A lot of action, but no bodies dropping just yet. Still going to be putting the pressure on the bottom side. There goes Nets with the Blazing Duet. Can't find a kill just yet either. But ONIC Philippines holds on.
They're thick. They're too thick.
All of them are too thick.
It's just pokes on pokes.
It's the Matilda Rafaela difference, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
No one's just going down.
It's Matilda Rafaela. You have a Uranus on one side, Blade Armor's on the other. The Claude can't go in at all. Super Princess Feathered Airstrike is barely felt by AP Bren. AP Bren are just out poking ONIC right now.
I think Naisu put it best. It's just a push and pull.
Yeah.
Only they're just pulling at each other.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the lineups, I was like, man, this is going to just be one of those matches, right? Back and forth, a whole lot of action, but no one dying, basically, you know? So especially when you start to get to this point of the game, we're almost at that 20-minute mark, where we know a lot of the, obviously, the immortalities come into play, and then eventually you have the Wind of Natures and Winter Truncheon, so it gets even more. But I will say, at least for Nets, he's done a great job climbing back up in the damage department on terms of against him, right, with Super Marco. So we'll see if they can actually convert it. If not, maybe we see him just keep pushing the split push that he's known for. We'll see if he can pull it off here.
Yeah.
But it will get increasing more difficult, especially as these Lords get taken here by AP Bren.
The only positive I can think of is that ONIC has higher ceiling to increase their strength because of items.
Yeah.
They have more. If they catch up, they're gonna catch up to 6 items, right? It's gonna be a more even matchup. But right now,
oh, they're going to press this one. Flapteezy going to heal back up. Using that Consecration. Still on it quite low as well. They've got to be careful how they approach this. Few going to jump in. He has the Circling Eagle. Oh! Super Marco now to capitalize off it. Gets the double. Gem there as well. He's the next one. Flickers out. Triple kill for Super Marco. A great setup from Few, and now this looks like it could be it. AP Bren just running it down mid. Looking to end the series in a sweep. They've got one cannon minion. They're focusing on the Crystal. Going out in style. Trying to get another kill. They're trying to hold on, but that's not going to be enough as AP Bren sweeps ONIC Philippines.
No redemption. Definitely none, because it is a sweep yet again for AP Bren. This winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance. Few sets up Super Marco with a triple kill.
yeah, two straight MVPs for sure. He's a match MVP in my book. The captain himself, man, the idol of the kids. He's showing up, and he's showing how it's done.
And a good show of sportsmanship between our two squads. If it's not going to be Few, it'll make sense if it'll also be Super Marco. Maybe even Flap.
Even Flap, yeah.
Right, it's such a low-key pick, but it's affect every team fight in the entire game. You're looking at the Uranus and like, how are we going to deal with that? Our Claude is barely scratching him, and when he does scratch him, he just gets healed and he has a Consecration.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, he's literally just like a super, like he's the commander of the minions. You know, when they're super buffed from the Lord? Like,
the
that's
chief
what Uranus
minion.
is. Yeah. He's literally like the chief minion, right? And you mentioned it earlier in the game, it's around the mid-game even, Rinmar, like him alone, Uranus alone is controlling like these lanes. And that's all you have to do. You have to just park them in a lane. And it usually handles a lot of even the pressure that Nets was trying to put on across the map, right? Trying to push, split push, do the whole maybe possible backdoor thing. But not only that, just the fact that you have Uranus, he has his own great sustainability, but then you pair it in with Ogwin on the Rafaela. Man, that's why we're seeing some crazy action-packed team fights, but no one actually dying.
Yeah. It's like, Poke, you're good? We're good too. Wanna
Welcome
go
to the
again?
support meta.
Yeah, welcome to the support meta. That's what the Flask of the Oasis has done to our wonderful and beautiful game. But hey, we're not complaining. It's just really funny to see.
It's really funny.
It's just like, oh, they're all 50%. Okay, hey, no one dying?
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that. And another interesting approach there by AP Bren was that you saw ONIC how always they had to worry about Flap TZ or Flap TZ and then just Super Marco. Because Super Marco was really holding on to his ultimate really well.
Yeah, I mean, all of them were, actually. Super Marco, even at the very end, he was the last one to go in. He would usually just wait on a bush for everyone to use their ults and go in. It seemed like AP Bren had a solid game plan for Super Marco, and he was very much informed.
That's why it worked out so well, right? Because I do think that this was apparent that AP Bren had a little more sustainability, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Especially to the fact that they have the Rafaela and then the mobility there. And that's why we saw Super Marco shine so much, because he held on to the trigger finger very well. And then when it got to the point where, okay, we're still sustaining, but look at ONIC Philippines, they're like pretty low. Maybe Super Marco, now's your time to shine. And that's kind of what he did. He just jumped in with a heavy crossbow, popped the sprint, unleashed.
Yeah, and that may be one of the key differences here. AP Bren had a really great trigger finger, good holding on to the abilities, but ONIC, it seemed like sometimes they were just forcing their ultimates to try and find something.
Yeah, and once those ultimates were popped, there was just no way for them to, to fight afterwards, post-fact. And also a big factor to me that there was barely any crowd control that Super Marco had to be scared of, aside from the Circling Eagle.
Yeah.
Which is, he's already not scared of Super Friends because, the feathered airstrikes just not, even if they hit, don't really make as hard of a mark as I remember. I feel like the Force I remember from way back then is so different from the Force I remember now because of the healing meta, because of the shielding that's provided by all these heroes.
Exactly. One of the things that you pack up in your hero lineup when you're up against burst is just heal. That's one of the reasons why teams don't like picking up the Novaria knowing that there's a Uranus up against them. Because even if you hit someone, or at least most likely you'll hit the Uranus, he'll just heal through it. Why, even though it's a healing meta, the Novaria, even though she still has a respectable slot in our meta, it takes a very special kind of performance to make her work. That's what teams have to consider. And why Farsa, I think she's still gonna be an option, but now even more so we're shown and reminded as to why we have barely seen her.
Yeah, and again, why so many times throughout the games, even not just here in our region, but across the board, you see so many of those bans going towards these support heroes, right? Yeah. Because realistically, these type of team fights can be frustrating. Like for a team like ONIC Philippines, like you are literally trying to lay down the artillery, right, so to speak, or try to fight and get to an angle where you can actually contest some of these lords. But then what ends up happening is it all just feels kind of pointless, right?
Yeah.
Like you're literally throwing everything you have at them, but by the end of it all, the health bars just go back up, right? So again, a lot of teams just solve it by banning those heroes out.
All right, again, congratulations to AP Bren. We're now going to go on over to them along with Marakina on stage for their winner's interview.
Thank you, casters. All right, let me hear it from you guys. AP? AP Bren, congratulations. Nasa solo number 2 spot na kayo dahil sa sweep na ginawa nyo. You're at 18 points. Solo number 2, just right above RSG na 17 points. Now, if you may comment ka before, sinabi mo na kaya nag-dip yung performance ng Bren prior to this day, nahirapan kayo mag-adjust sa meta. But now, na-sweep nyo yung kalaban nyo, you guys are doing amazing. What changed?
Siguro yung mindset din namin sa laro. Kasi nung mga last time, parang sobrang gigil lagi namin manalo eh. Kasi nga, galing din kami lose streak. Parang mas focus kami sa manalo kaysa ayusin yung laro namin.
Paano nyo binago yung mindset nyo? Anong nangyari nung mga wala pang games, nung Monday to Thursday? Anong nangyari sa team?
Binago namin yung mindset namin na wag lagi manggigil sa kalaban. Lalo na pag lamang kami. Kasi doon kami lagi na babawian eh. kahit lamang na lamang kami, tapos pagdating ng 10K lead, biglang may mamamatay sa amin. Ganun.
Pero may magaling support na kayo ngayon, ha? Oh, Gwen! Dati nagdidigi ka. Support ngayon. Nakikita ka namin mag-Angela, mag-Rafaela. How long did it take for you to master that? Master Gwen?
After, siguro lose streak namin. Embrace ko na yung healing meta. Embrace ko na yung healing meta.
Oh, enjoy mo naman.
Medyo.
Medyo. Ano masasabi mo sa performance mo?
Okay naman po.
Okay naman. By the way, ang alam ko meron tayong dito May birthday boy tayo dito Super Marco, happy birthday! Wait guys, can we... Isang mabilis lang. Okay, isang mabilis. Happy birthday! Everybody! Happy birthday, Super Marco! By the way, meron kang pinost mga a week ago. Sabi mo, guys, punta kayo ng MPL Arena. Magsasalita ako ng madami. Okay, dahil birthday mo, ano ang birthday wish mo?
Ang birthday wish ko ay long live sa family ko tapos makapag-upper bracket kami this season.
Mag-upper. Parang very, very, very doable naman. Nagko-comment si Flav. Ano yung comment mo? May reaction ka dito
Ano daw po, gusto niya raw po kumaldag kasi birthday niya.
Ikaw yung magpapagawa sa kanya. Tulungan mo ako, ikaw yung papagawa. Kailangan ata ng tulong. Flap, ikaw din. Gawin mo. Together.
Yung ganun.
Okay, yung ganon. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go.
Hindi, sabihin mo, happy birthday to me.
Okay, sabihin daw happy birthday to me.
Hindi, kayo mo muna. Happy birthday to me.
1, 2, 3, go.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! And now it's time to announce the match MVP. Let me hear some names. Sinisigaw niya si Marco. Sino? Louder! Okay, tingnan natin kung tama ka.
Super Marco.
Tingnan natin kung tama si Flap. Let's take a look at the screen for the match MVP. Super Marco! Super Marco, sabi mo nga magsasalita ka ng marami pag pumunta dito sa MPL. Ano pa dapat ang i-expect natin mula sa Bren? Ngayon, number 2 na kayo. Ito ba yung matagalin ng hinihintay? Ito ba yung goal nyo? What can you say about what else we can see about AP Bren?
Tuloy-tuloy na panalo kasi panalo kami ngayon Bali, may momentum kami sa linggo. Tapos sunod-sunod na yun.
Okay, now, anong gusto mong sabihin sa lahat ng nanonood ngayon, sa lahat ng kumanta ng happy birthday sa'yo?
Salamat sa mga bumati, tsaka sa mapupunta, tsaka sa mga sumuporta sa amin.
Alright, once again, one more time. Let's all say it together. Happy birthday, Super Marco! Happy birthday, Super Marco! Happy birthday! Palakpakan natin sila Super Marco and AP Bren. You may now take your bow. And take your walk. Bow muna, bow muna. Bow muna. You may now take your bow. And take your walk of victory. Oh, it's gonna be a great celebration for AP Bren tonight. With that sweep, nakakuha sila ng 18 points and they are now at solo and number 2. We're gonna break down that game for you, so we're gonna go back to our casters. Pass up.
Gwen looking like he was excited to celebrate Super Marco's birthday there.
He's ready to go to the gym.
You're ready to go to the gym, forgetting to bow with the team before doing the walk-off. But hey, congratulations to AP Bren. They mentioned it. Few mentioned they fixed their mindset. Sometimes we'd have a massive lead, we'd mess up, we're always a bit too eager to end it, but now they stuck to it. Now let's go on over to the analysis with Rockhart to explain how AP Bren won that Game 2 against ONIC.
The analysis here is going to be very straightforward because I think Captain himself analyzed it quite well already. Apparently, it was all about mindset. The way that Bren played today, it did feel like it was just a huge, swift change-up in their mindset where they know they got the lead, they know they got the advantage. Why are we drilling down too much on the kills? And in the end, it did not really. They didn't need those kills, right? 7-1 right now is going to be the score line for Super Marco, who did not die in this game, if you notice. And I think he really did deserve that, considering that for 2 games straight, he showed up on that lane with solo kills of his own and really showed Bren what he was made of. Right now, ONIC, I feel like there were very small moments where brilliance could have actually struck. And I was looking forward to those. Obviously, everyone's eyes are on Gem when he was chasing up on the few here. And again, you have to keep thinking about the problems that movement actually did present. It was actually expending too much of their resources just to get these kills in order. And I think ONIC also at the very end realized that, guys, we also don't need kills. Let's just play to our core comp's advantage, where their comp's advantage was actually just also nets. And the problem with that is Super Marco obviously had Nets' number already. And it was very apparent up until the very end here, where you would notice that AP Bren just Super Marco just walking straight up. He was not afraid of any crowd controls. He was also not afraid of any major retaliation. And here, that beautiful, super clippable moment there from the captain. Knowing that the captain is capable of these things means that he can basically do whatever he wants and he can basically do no wrong. It was up till the very end there where I would think they did not need the Lord, and they obviously knew they didn't. And AP Bren just banking onto what Super Marco could do and making sure that ONIC knew what he was capable of. Overall, this is the kill map that we have, where the kills happened, and most of them actually happened with Super Marco helping out after the Lord fights. He would actually come in last after people have already used their ultimates, where he knew he was going to be safest. Obviously, aside from that solo kill that happened up on top side. But yeah, Super Marco had a beautiful macro mindset in this game, and he had the utmost trust in his teammates, making sure that everyone knew what he was going to do, and he was calling it, and the team was ready to catch him if ever it didn't work out. Good thing about AP Bren here is everything they did basically worked out. It worked out in their favor. They were able to make a lineup that had, there was a battering ram lineup, where all they had to do was keep the AFL alive and your job was finished. And they also had the Uranus advantage, where the chief minion was able to basically dictate where the pushes were going to happen. So no matter what Nets did on that Claude, no matter where he went, he was going to be answered immediately by this Uranus. Again, all of that, because of all of this happening, Kaltizi was able to do the job well. Ogwen, Few, they were able to basically just play out what their heroes were going to do without the need for any of these kills, without the need for the gold influx. And AP Bren basically just flexed on ONIC in this one. Now the biggest problem that they might have faced here might have been Super Friends or Gem coming out with a crazy last insanity. But if you notice, even up until the very, very end, Super Friends' feathered airstrike just felt like literal feathers hitting you. It was so soft. Even Super Marco had no problems dodging them. And I think it's already second nature for players of AP Bren, because of the veteran nature of these players, to just dodge these skills. Dodge the feather airstrike and dodge the last insanity without any problems whatsoever. And all of these being said and done, a very easy to activate lineup, a very easy to initiate lineup here for AP Bren meant that it was not, they basically they didn't break a sweat here in this game.
All right. That was the series. ONIC versus AP Bren. Again, no redemption for ONIC, swept yet again by APB. And let's see if AP Bren can continue this momentum as they put in their interview. Next matchup, we've got Gonna be a hot one and a crucial one for the determination of the standings. Blacklist International versus a Minana EVOS that are finding a good amount of momentum as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, they last week from what we saw from them, they found some momentum. They need. Now I know a lot of people are hoping for Blacklist International as well, but Minana, if they want to stay in contention for the playoffs, I believe they do need to obviously win this series as well. So it's getting dicey.
Yeah.
We're coming up at the last week. It's second to last week, and people, you gotta keep in mind, you know, Minana is also trying to just not get swept here. But Blacklist, they're very crucial as well on the points.
Yeah, let's see who's going to win that matchup. That'll be in just a bit. Again, it's R&R, Rock Hard, Naisu, and Reptar. We'll be back for the second series of the day, MPL Season 12. Don't go anywhere.
all right, we'll do better week 5. And here is the start of that doing better, right? They got to regroup and they got to focus. If anything, I got a lot on the shoulders of both Edward and wait, give me a second. No.
That's
That's yours.
They got a little shuffle up going on.
That's your boy.
What's going on? Why might this be?
I mean, I kind of like this. I'm a huge UF fan, and I feel like Blacklist International, they feel the need to change. But on the other hand, the opposition, Minana EVOS, they don't feel the need to change. They just had a good week with his starting lineup, and Doming AR, Kingson AR, Lancy AR, Lord Jam AR, Spider-Man's AR. I gotta say, man, they have this insane chemistry between them. They understand team fights, they understand peeling, they understand objectives, and they understand perfectly well how Doming likes to play the game. I watched the games last week, and it feels like Doming AR has gotta be one of the most consistent goal laners in the current regular season, and it's amplified with the 4 players that they have on the squad, especially when they yielded in Spider-Man's AR.
I thought you were going to say one of the most consistent Claudes.
Yeah.
Straight up Claude,
Yeah,
dude.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a Claude laner.
Yeah, that's a Claude laner. I like that. And that's something that the Blacklist International squad has to watch out for here. Going up against Minana EVOS, the Claude, the potential split pushes, playing around the map. Blacklist, they love playing those objectives, what we saw against Omega. And thank you as well to a wonderful little analysis shared to us by Oh My Venus NYs, talking about Blacklist struggles in terms of the chemistry between Haji and Renegade, and specifically calling for shots in terms of taking care of the map and taking care of the objective team fights for Blacklist International. They said, okay, we're going to do something different today.
Something tells me the MVP machine's playstyle might have been only good up to a certain point with the Hitman.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. You don't switch out the Hitman, you switch out Haji. So now it's the Magic Man coming in. I like it. Both lineups now have a 4+1 configuration.
Yep. Here's the thing. Yue and Haji, they're neck and neck when it comes to skill and technical prowess. But again, as you've said, I think the problem was Haji at some point was it just not like compatible with Renegade, especially when you switch around like so much with Renegade Zero Pull. And I feel like Yue is going to become a good addition here, considering that now Renegade is gonna be the one who does the adjusting, because Yue is going to stick to that playstyle that we saw in Season 11.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be now Renegade taking over the captain role, if I'm not mistaken, because they've been vocal before with Haji being the captain. Now with Haji out, that takes the reins of leadership into the hands of Renegade.
He is co-captain.
Co-captain.
That is as written, and that is what I know. Given that I am the official, unofficial Renegade, the Hitman spokesperson.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Thank you for the statement there, the ambassador.
The unofficial, official ambassador.
Unofficial,
There you go.
official ambassador
Yes.
to
I like it.
the Hitman Renegade.
Yep.
That's
we're
Leia.
trying to get the chapter put up here in Makati.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a whopping 2 members, so anyone
Who's
wants
the
to
other
sign
one?
up. Huh?
Who's the other one?
Can it be me?
It was him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right. I'm sure there are other conditions we need to discuss here. So coming up, it's going to be midnight with the keys to victory.
It's going to be a hot bout between Blacklist International and Minana EVOS. And for them to be able to win in this upcoming match, you need to follow the keys to victory brought to us by Infinix Note Series Ultra Fast Gameplay. Now, for Blacklist International, they need to be able to trust in Sensui's instincts. Time and time again, we've seen the jungler of Blacklist International capable of stealing so many objectives away from other teams, and it has been the fundamental truth of Blacklist gameplay. Whatever you do, whatever they are in, whatever situation they are in, even if it's a dire late game situation, Sensui is going to be able to contest the objectives from the enemies, and they need to be able to provide the support and trust for Sensui to be able to unleash his instincts onto the land of dawn. Now, for Minana EVOS, they need to be able to react to Spider-Man's AR senses. Again, we've seen his playstyle last week when he was able to play a flawless Matilda game, especially up against Omega. And this is the change that Minana EVOS brought in with his new roster. They understand well, and they understand the support position better when Spider-Miles is playing that role, considering that he is a support player before, now rocking on in the roam role for Minana EVOS. They're going to be able to execute team fights really, really well. Now, for both sides, need to expect and prepare for extended team fights, especially with Blacklist's peel strategy for OHEB, and of course Minana EVOS delaying tactics for them to be able to unleash the split push coming out from Doming AR. Those are the Infinix keys to victory, brought to us again by Infinix.
Okay, so it's Sensui Instincts versus Spider Miles
Yeah.
Senses.
Instincts versus senses.
Spider
I like
senses
it.
Miles. No, never
Spider
mind.
Senses Miles.
AR. Never mind.
AR. You know what? I think we
AR
can say
senses.
Spider Senses. It's Spider Senses. His name is Spider Miles. He has a senses as well. So
Yep.
it's one. That's what we're gonna be watching out for here. So yeah, I'm glad that we also brought up the condition team fighting prowess of Sensui, and that's a fancy way of saying he steals a lot of lords.
Yeah.
He steals a lot of turtles. But I think again, as we mentioned earlier, one of the things teams have been doing, especially what Omega did against Blacklist International, is they realize, hey, they put a lot of effort into these turtles and objectives. What if we play the map more?
Yeah.
And again, with Claude in the hands of Domeng, that's a big factor.
Yeah, I like that you pointed it out, because the thing with Minana EVOS is that they're not afraid to rock the squad, even though
Busian.
he kind of Busian, he kind of got nerfed to the ground. Claude still does is still the only marksman that is able to do what he wants to do. Like if you look at Irithel, the Brunos, the Brody, they want to team fight, they want to take objectives with your teammates. This is basically anti-Ube, because Claude likes to play with himself, likes to play by himself. And I feel like Doming AR, he understands the hero just so well.
Yes.
And Minana EVOS is able to play around that fact that they're not fighting with their gold lane.
Yeah, just to build on that, if Doming AR wants to push turrets, and that's second nature to him, Claude wants to double lane, and he's the only marksman that's
yeah.
able to do it reliably. You can try it with other marksmen. Again, put Wilderness Blessing on a Beatrix for all I care, but it's not going to do what a Claude does.
All right, then that poses the next question here for Minana EVOS, as he's dodging bullets and firing also, is if you are really known for your playstyle of doing your version of Ube with your utility healing, will there be enough room in that kind of playstyle to actually execute a split push?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you gotta answer it up with either a prepared plan or it's through the draft. Because Blacklist International, I think at this point, you have to respect the Claude. Even though, again, most teams, even me, thinks of the Claude as a dead hero. If you are able to play the hero so well, you don't really care. It's kind of like the same idea why Blacklist was so successful with S12. Even though the heal were at sometimes nerfed, they don't really care because they just understand why the hero works. And that's true with Minana EVOS. So I feel like they have to give some respects to either picking up the Claude themselves on OHEB or ban it out.
Okay, so it's the healers banned out by Blacklist International. I never thought I'd say that sentence. Minana EVOS, what's your first pick gonna be?
Dear Lord, how much do you hate when Spider Miles gets his signatures? They open it with a Valentina.
Yeah.
Solid pickup. No, they're not going to bite the bullet here. I mean, all puns intended. They're not going to go for the Claude, not pick one.
Yep. But you have to think that Minana EVOS, they got the upper hand already, securing that Valentina away from Yue.
And at the same time, Minana EVOS, they can honestly still this. There is still room in the draft later on for them to play it. Let's see if Blacklist International will read into it. No, Minana.
Oh, Minana. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Spider Miles, that's one of the picks that they utilize.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
It is him.
It is him. But with the Terizla and Fredrin, might be a little bit too difficult. Those beefy boys enjoy when a lot of people clump up together.
This is just a free Claude game, man. Like, if you're Minana EVOS, you're confident enough at this point to just pick up a Claude.
Yeah.
You're up against a Terizla and Fredrin. It tells you one thing. No catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go Claude Baksha, you go Claude Martis.
Claude Akai.
All of these are good picks.
Oh, I like the Claude Akai, honestly.
Yeah. Or maybe get the Claude now and get an XP laner, maybe a Yuzong or the
yeah.
Thams for Lord JMAR. It's a good matchup.
All right, the fact that there's so many junglers left means maybe they can leave it for the second phase. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
The Martis and the Akai are still out there.
Because you're forcing 2 bans from Blacklist.
Yeah. Minana EVOS might even play the Barats. Whose choice is that?
Oh, I like this.
Sure, why not?
Minotaur. All right, Baksha.
Baksha.
Okay, why do you like it?
Here's the thing. Fredrin and Terizla both wants to close the gap. And you're up against a Minotaur that can just turn team fight around you and can also heal the heroes that are being targeted by Blacklist International. And you're also up against a Baksha. That will just soak up most of the damage dealt by Blacklist International. It feels like, again, Minana EVOS will try to run a Claude strategy in second phase if Blacklist does not respect it. However, if Blacklist bans it out, it sets up for a good Irithel game for Minana EVOS.
Man, I don't know what Coach Bitoy and Coach DJ are on right now, but they've done so well to cancel what Blacklist is doing, like a tweet from 2013, man. It's amazing.
Blacklist, what are you going to be picking up? Okay, they pick up the Novaria.
I don't like this.
Okay, all right, so...
You can find the Novaria with the Baksha, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Novaria works well if you are up against catch heroes. Up against a Minotaur, Basha, Valentina. They don't care. Get vision on me. Sure.
Hit me.
We're in front of you.
Yeah.
We're in front of you, right? Hit me.
Leo actually hit me just now. Drafted.
Don't take it literally, though.
Yeah, not
noted.
literally, but
Got it, thank you.
okay, so of course, with the Novaria, a lot of vision and info provided. The DPS for Minana is a little bit higher because of, well, we all know how Baksha works.
Yep.
Folks.
Damage is definitely higher, I would say, coming out from Blacklist International, especially with the Novaria scaling. I heard the Cloud ban, by the way, so that's good. That's good for Blacklist International. Isolated team fights are also better for Blacklist International, considering that they don't have to deal with the Cloud. But again, it sets up for a good Irithel game for Minana EVOS, so they still have to worry about that aspect of Minana EVOS' route, because you can flex Baksha, Minotaur, and Valentina in so many ways, wherein you can either get a Brody, get a Bruno. These heroes are just hard to deal with, especially with the Baksha rolling around, soaking up 50% of the damage output of your team.
Yeah, okay. So Blacklist also read on one of the things you mentioned earlier, Midnight. This could be a Claude game. They take it out. Should they ban out another marksman still?
Bruno, I'd say Bruno.
Take it out?
Irithel, you try to play against it, because both Bren and Terizla cannot sustain the damage output of the Bruno. Oh, interesting.
So they ban out the two of the lesser evils, right? You get out the Ixia, we'll deal with the Bruno. Or we pick up the Bruno too. I think a Bruno solid in the Blacklist lineup.
I mean, if you have a Terizla, you don't really care much about the Ixia, because you're always a threat. But against a Bruno, you have to think about how you close the gap, how far he is away from team fights, and how much balls is he landing on your face.
Then maybe they pick it here.
Right.
Oh, maybe they steal it. Right,
Yeah,
you're right.
they can pick it up for themselves. You do need that great amount of damage to deal with already. 2 beefy boys, which I'm sure will translate into 3. So this is going to be a lineup that's very frontline heavy for Minana EVOS.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, Midnight, Minana EVOS likes to peel for their gold lane and
Yep.
domain.
I like the idea of Leo proposing that Blacklist steals Bruno, but I feel like that's a bait. If you take Bruno here, it's an easy use Zong and Irithel or Brody pick up for Minana EVOS.
Ah, okay.
I guess you
Yeah,
make
you
your bed, you live with it, but
You pick your poison, right?
Yeah, pick your poison.
So they
at
went with the
this point.
Brody. That's a much safer option.
Okay.
But now you're still up against an Irithel and maybe still a Yuzong.
Yeah, Irithel and Yuzong, honestly, to me, sound like very good picks for Minana EVOS.
Never mind, sorry. Irithel and Khalid sounds wonderful.
Khalid instead. Okay, personally, I'm one of those people who, if you have someone you want to cash in the back line, like let's say a Brody, it needs to be a less mobile mid laner.
Yeah, I agree.
The Khalid trying to cash a Novaria is so difficult. we saw it in Nation earlier in MPL-MY.
Yeah. But what I like with Khalid here is that the instant jump and the instant burst, Blacklist does not have the same sustain as Minana EVOS.
Oh yeah, just so you have something to deal with. Okay, Khalid, Yuzong, both very good options to see what they go for.
Tams.
And it's the Tams that you mentioned way back
There you go.
as their pick.
they read into it. They're both expecting really long team fights, and the Blacklist are investing in the vision. Minana EVOS the re-engagement. Here's the ultimate re-engage tool. Why not? Is this? Did I say that right? Is this the debut of Diggy?
Yep. It's the expert wingman.
5 weeks. It took 5 weeks for Diggy to show up, and this can be played by the Hitman. Wake me up. Am I dreaming?
You're not dreaming. Here, I'm gonna pinch you.
Woot woot!
He did that right after I pinched him. That was kind of disturbing. Draft index.
All right, team fight is definitely much favorable for Minana EVOS still. Although you remove the Minoan Fury aspect, one problem the Blacklist is going to face here is that the Fredrin and the Terizla is not going to be happy early game because you're up against Baksha, Minotaur, and also a Valentina with potentially a scaling Irithel that just snowballs early game. Because the thing is, you're not going to be able to stop Irithel from getting early game control when you have a Diggy.
And these are one of these scenarios where now this puts a lot of pressure onto Renegade and Yue to actually land and be effective with their abilities.
Yep.
And deal the damage. Audience predictions. Blacklist International still favored to win here. 67% to Minana EVOS. 33%. But there is something that I've been hearing about more lately though. Something about Diggy and being close to like an insta-win for pros when it comes to their, how do I call this, their scrim results.
Oh.
Dude, Diggy is an absolute response, man.
Yeah, he's a
Diggy
menace.
Is the solution that Batman was talking about from the movie Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
If there's a 1% chance, it's the Diggy. We have to take it as an absolute.
I like the way how you
okay,
put
that
it.
was the line.
I like the way how you put it. Like, Diggy is not a pick, he's a solution. And in this game, I really like the idea behind it, because you are up against a Minotaur, you remove that team fight aspect later on, but again, can you get past the early game timing of Minana EVOS?
All right, let's see how this Diggy and Novaria combination will work against this lineup that Minana EVOS brought out immediately. They're already respecting Doming AR's abilities in lane.
All right, Minana EVOS, it's kind of interesting that Spider Miles didn't go with the gold lane first. He tried to secure more of the mid lane control over securing the early game for Doming AR. He did get punished though, but he has a tenacity emblem, so Idrissel can survive the lane much better against a Brody and Diggy. And again, as you said, they have to hit a lot of things here, like the bombs. It's not enough that you're threatening the position of gold lane, because Idrissel will always be able to take minions, especially with its with her second skill. She's not going to be zoned out in the lane per se up against a Brody.
Yeah, well, and you think of team fighting, yeah, of course, it's obvious the time's journey of the Diggy, but it feels like this Diggy pickup is now even more so just to make sure OHEB can scale comfortably. Not just for the team fighting, it's more for OHEB.
It's like kind of like a comforting hero for Blacklist International, so that OHEB comes online in a safe manner.
By the way, agility is actually the most used tier 1 talent, even in patch 1.6.20, use rate of 49.10%. As expected, XP laners, mid laners, and roamers, they need it.
So just to put that into context, folks, when you see a talent lineup for an emblem build, 50-50, almost, right? There's a chance that it has agility.
Yeah. Because 4% is just too much, right? 4% in early game, especially now if you pair it up with a Wilderness Blessing. Oh, that hot.
Oh, here we go. Penalty zone answered back with one. Sensui falls, Lancey gets a kill, and another falls for Blacklist. Spider-Man scores, and that's a man up for Minana EVOS as they go straight for the turtle.
This is what we mean when we said, like, Bren is not going to have a fantastic time in the early game. Both Bren and the Turizla, they just lose against Valentina and Baksha.
Yeah, okay, so there's a bit of an invade here by Lord JM. Actually, ended up peeling a little bit for Sensui. But yeah, Minana EVOS, their well-timed collapse onto the members of Blacklist International. Just so good, just like the 455% diamond rebate you can get in game.
Yeah, I mean, Blacklist International, they kind of had no choice, especially with that team fight, because...
Oh, no. Reverse time, plus a stun, answered back. Spider-Miles pulled him over. There's a torn-apart memory, not enough.
All right, I was saying earlier that the choice that Blacklist made to not commit with the Diggy on the team fight, because instead of going with that choice, Renegade just stay gold lane. And I think that's a safer bet, because you'd want, again, OHEB to be comfortable against this Idrissel, but you have to pay the price, right? So Sensui and Edward know for the fact that they will be facing up against 4 heroes of Minana EVOS, which is good for Minana EVOS' side, but this also means that Blacklist International is playing for their timing. They're playing to scale towards that mid-game where their lineup is so strong that they're able to deal with the Minon's Fury. But the question is, how much can Minana EVOS get in this early game time where Blacklist is not able to deal with the heroes that they have?
Yeah, and you see Doming also acknowledging that as well, just playing for the last hits and being very careful with his laning speed. But he finds OHEB, that's a lot of damage.
And it looks like they're going to oblige. Oh, Renegade didn't pull the trigger. Here comes Kaizen. Spots out Sensui in that bush, pushing him back. No engage quite yet. Oh, early push on the Poisons there.
I was so sure that Renegade will use Flicker there for the reverse time, but they didn't feel like fighting the Idrissel there.
Oh, Lancey! Lancey very low. Sensui's going to get him here. That's 1 for 1. Blacklist on the board.
Okay, it looks like Lancey was just caught off guard there. You cannot give situations or kills like that to Blacklist International. Lancey needs to watch out a little bit more on the mid.
Early invades coming out from Blacklist. Actually, not really invade, but soft committing on the invade just to make sure that the Minana EVOS is forced to react to whatever Sensui's doing. Surprisingly, both of the junglers are in the same level. Although Kaizen does hold more XP, it does put more advantage towards the side of Minana EVOS when it comes to contesting these objectives. 5 more seconds, Kaizen is going to have the advantage.
Here we go.
Level.
Lord at a third of its health. Lord JM looking for that wide bush. Penalty zone coming in.
Oh!
Stolen one, but speaking of, Sensui gets the turtle. Blacklist scores 1 at 5 minutes in.
We know about the senses of Spider Miles, but we talked about the instincts of Sensui. But this time it looked like Blacklist International. I think one of the main differences there, Midnight, you pointed out earlier, this time they committed to Bren and Jay and the Diggy.
Yeah, and the thing is, the senses, yes, it's there. Like, Spider Miles knows when to pull the trigger, but you're up against a Diggy. Like, the Retribution Castle is not going to work, because when you cast Minoan's Fury, the Time's Journey is always going to be there. So there's no stopping Sensui from unleashing those instincts and getting the objective steal away from Minana EVOS.
What do we say about Diggy being a solution, man? He's an eminent threat.
I mean, at this point, he is part of the solution.
Oh! Flicker spent in by the Hitman. He's going to get cracked like an egg. As now they're left here to fight for their own. Oh, him! With the torn apart memory, taking down the Minoan Fury machine. And there's an ult coming in from Sensui. He's about to get popped, but unless he gets down Kaizen first. So far, 2 for 2. Violence up top.
Oh, wow. Doming and Oheb are just positioning very well. Oheb did get caught, but he did have the flicker, which he conserved and still was able to free hit. But it ended up becoming a trade for these two teams. And again, the Diggy is back, and it is an imminent threat.
Oh,
my goodness!
About to get bursted down. Is there enough? Oh! One more!
Grab it! Oh, the
heal! Survives. Motivational roar, and here comes Clancy with the punish. Renegade goes.
Clutch!
Yeah, it's clutch. You know, there's no other word to describe that play but clutch. Blacklist International, they abused the fact that Diggy is going to respawn, and Oheb went for the aggressive play. Even though it looked like Doming AR was the one who was pulling the triggers versus the Brody, they knew perfectly well that the damage is not going to be enough because they also had the shields from the Time's Journey. And Doming AR living with 1 HP and the heal. Clutch saving the Irithel there, especially from the bombs of the Diggy.
Bottom lane, Lord JM and Edward. We're just smacking each other there. So we head into the last turtle of the game. By the way, key pickups. Kaizen already has the anti-Cuirass. Sensui already has a Radiant Armor.
Yep.
Looking for the pull. Turtles currently at neutral. Astral Echo thrown out by the Magic Man. Oh my Blacklist with a small advantage now.
Jam.
Turtle getting pulled in. Watch it.
Oh.
1v1. That's a win off camera. Minoan Fury answered by a Turtle. Helping Sensui score another one. Last turtle goes over to Black.
Even with the adjustments, man, like Spider Miles, he's committing to Minoan's Fury earlier than he's supposed to because he is baiting out the Time's Journey. And even with that, Sensui is able to secure the objective from Minana EVOS. By the way, Lord JMAR solo kills the Agent Zero on the bottom lane.
Yeah. Lord JM, we've given this Tom's pick flack earlier in the season, but now he looks comfortable against Edward.
Here we go, another engage coming in. Putting a few beads on him, pulling the trigger. Down goes Spider Miles, and Kaizen looking low, a fifth of his health left. Oh, Blacklist happy with that pickoff.
Yeah. Minana EVOS not able to capitalize on the early game lead that they're supposed to have, especially with their set of heroes. But Blacklist International now are fully aware that this is where they should fight. This is their timing. The Brody is strong in mid game, and they have that burst damage that they need, and they're also able to protect Oheb in this situations where Minana EVOS is just going inside and baiting out the Time's Journey. Because again, you don't have to worry about the Minoan's Fury with Renegade being in a team fight. You have that reset factor in the form of the Time's Journey.
Yeah, I feel like Minana EVOS need to respect and play around it more in terms of before actually fully committing into the objectives or the fights. They need to force it out somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. An answer coming in from the east. The flank from both Sensui and Kaizen. They disengage. Oh, wow, this is the first time we're actually seeing Blacklist Wonton crossing the river.
And wow, the XP lane has just really embodied the idea of it originally as being a dead lane.
Yeah.
It's just two guys slapping each other there in the bottom, while Blacklist and Minana have turned their focus to the center and the top portion of our map.
It is a dead lane, however, it benefits Blacklist more because Minana EVOS is not able to capitalize on the fact that they have Thams that can force team fights versus Blacklist International. Because again, they don't have backline. This XP lane of Minana should have been the gap closer over the gold laner of Blacklist International. But now they are playing the dead lane. It is up against a Terizla, but it doesn't change the fact that Blacklist International can fight 4v4. Because again, you have to consider the fact that the Diggy is there, and the presence of the Diggy alone shuts down a team fight of Minana EVOS.
Yeah. And despite this being a 5v4, it looks like Minana wants to contest. Minana wants to hold on to it. Lord currently a neutral, less than half health. Blacklist just chipping away at it. Kaizen looking for an angle from the north. And they let go. Oh, wow. Blacklist changes their priorities.
Classic Blacklist reset, man. They know the Lord dance really, really well.
Okay, and right now Minana EVOS is struggling. The lack of that major dive into the back as Lancey takes a lot of damage.
Yep.
It's coming back to bite them right now. Let's see who gets this.
Bound to be a 5v5 penalty zone coming in from Agent Zero. A Spider Miles gets zeroed himself. They're looking for one more. Lord JM gets popped by the Magic Man point blank. And the Lord is all but gone. Scored for Blacklist.
If you ever ask how to do Lord Dance, ask Blacklist International. The Lord turn was there. They saw the right man, and the right man was Spider Miles.
Oh! AR popped like it's hot
And
by
Blacklist-
Oheb. And now, is that a steal? Is that a steal? No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
No,
fine.
Kaysen got it.
Yeah, again, Blacklist International, they understand Lord Dance really, really well and when to turn. That jump from Edward signifies that when they saw the beefy man of Minana EVOS, the Minotaur, they turned. It looked like they didn't care about the Lord. Even if it's half HP, low HP, we don't care. When I see the target, we go at him. And the target was the Minotaur. You don't let him cast Minoan's Fury and force out the Time's Journey. We go on him. Because when we go on him, he gets poked. He's not gonna be able to fight for the next Lord Dance. And Blacklist just one T-fight off of that.
Slight advantage here for Blacklist. 4,000 an item. Maybe an item and a half. Oh, they're going to get caught out.
Echoes on echoes.
Oh!
You can hear it as Oheb gets a few stacks and pops Lancey. And now underneath Tier 1, they push in hard as Kaysen goes.
Oh, wow.
It's just Doming and Lord JM left. Blacklist International gets sweet. Revenge, they're back on the board, taking game 1.
This winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance. And hey, we mentioned it. Pros have been talking. In their scrims, Diggy almost auto win.
Bro, it's Blacklist, man.
This new lineup, it's looking rosy.
Yeah, it's still a diggy, you know. It's still a sustained hero. It's a signature of Blacklist International, and I cannot believe that Reddiche could have pulled it off.
He's the Eggman.
The Eggman.
The Eggman.
He's the Eggman.
Sonics are proud. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it really felt like after the nice start, it kind of looked like Minana EVOS couldn't adjust to the Diggy anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it looked like they struggled. By the way, you can catch MPLI on November 15 to 19 to witness a top 4 MPL-PH teams compete in the only tournament in which a PH team has yet to dominate. That's history, folks. It really is the trend there. Get ready to party for MLBP's anniversary celebration on October 7th. The 5th anniversary Encore Selection Chess and the 7th anniversary achievement from unlocking the annual Fun Data are up for grabs.
Just chat happy 7th anniversary on MLBB to claim even more rewards. And guess what? All heroes will be free for a limited time. Round up your friends and have a blast together.
All right. So, what was that thing that you had there on your mind, Leo, that you were about to bring up?
I like this lineup because even with Renegade on a non-traditional Hitman hero, yes, he played the Eggman, you have fit the mold. So this lineup, Rosie, it hit diff, and it hit well.
Yeah, hit diff, hit well, and it looks like Minana EVOS once things were much better for Blacklist International to fight. Again, just couldn't adjust and had a rough time too. It's like Minana EVOS went into this with a clear plan of what they wanted to do. But then once something different came along, it's like they couldn't adjust.
Exactly. That lineup that Minana EVOS drafted, it was too honest.
Yeah.
It was so clear, all right? It's black and white. It's what the meta is all about. It's like elephant pants from the early 2000s. Everybody's rocking it, but all it took was one Diggy.
Yeah, one Diggy to crack the hopes of Minana EVOS to get that game number 1, but it's not done yet. But let's talk about what happened in that first game with Midnight with the analysis.
This is again classic Blacklist International understanding the timing of their lineup really well and breaking the early game tempo and momentum that Minana EVOS could have amassed. Now in game number 1, we saw a lot of interesting stuff. The attempt of Spider-Man to kind of dull the instincts of Sensui, but with the backup of the Diggy coming off of Blacklist International, they were able to secure more objectives once again with Sensui playing the jungle objective taker for Blacklist International. But the man of the hour is none other than Oheb, the goal laner of Blacklist. The Brody is able to maximize the early game time to farm up, get his items up, and fight in the mid game. This is what I was what I meant when I said that Blacklist understood their timing really well. They were playing for the mid game timing of the Brody, and he did not disappoint. He knew perfectly well that he had to balance the early aggression and the passive aggression that he's supposed to get because he needs to be able to farm up these items. The Blade of Heptases in the early game was so crucial because it is what allowed Blacklist International to fight with a Brody in the mid game, dealing so much physical damage over Minana EVOS. And this clip, this particular example, is Blacklist International fully understanding that they have to pay the price at some point. Minana EVOS is going to win the first objective take, but after that, it was all Blacklist International. There were some good fights for Minana EVOS. They were still allowed to kind of push their aggressive even further, especially with the higher damage output that they have. But Blacklist, again, they were just playing for gold lane. It feels like Blacklist were peeling for the gold lane in the entirety of the early game. Because guess what? Sensui, he had to deal with a lot of stuff when it comes to contesting the objectives from Minana EVOS. But come the time when they can actually fight into Minana EVOS, they understand that they have to take down the Minotaur first before they can actually break the team fight for Minana EVOS. And that crucial play from Oheb with the flicker and the catch on the Irithel is what secured this kind of like snowball victory for Blacklist International. And constantly we see Blacklist diving the backlines of Minana EVOS, not allowing Minana EVOS to kind of like recover and group up and shut down the timing, the mid-game timing of Blacklist. Now we're gonna see the kill map of Oheb here, particularly mostly on the top lane, because this is where the gold lane was positioned for the majority of this game, and this is where you're gonna start seeing the pattern of the gold lane. He did not rotate towards the opposite side of the map, didn't even contest the first turtle, because again, Blacklist, they were fighting for mid game. They were buying time essentially against Minana EVOS because they're not allowing Dumbing AR to have the game that he wanted, to have the early game snowball effect that Minana EVOS were looking into. And also that's also because of the fact that, again, the team fight were just too much stronger on the side of Minana EVOS that he had to give it on their side. Blacklist International, they understand that. They still contested some of the objectives, but it's mostly just to force reactions from Minana EVOS to make sure that they commit on taking these objectives while Oheb was farming on the earlier parts of the game. Now, Minana EVOS, considering that lead that they had, I want to point out that, again, the loss of the XP laner, the Thams, the pick of Minana EVOS, kind of shut their early game down because they didn't have that XP laner that could punish the gold lane of Blacklist International. They didn't have that dive onto Oheb. They only had Spider Miles AR to initiate against Blacklist International, and the beauty of it was Blacklist responded. They respected the last pick of, the initiation prowess of Minana EVOS with their last pick. The Diggy that came up with Renegade, especially with the cooldown boots, able to always save his teammates with the Time's Journey, effectively removing the teamfight factor of Minana EVOS. And with that, Oheb was just able to output so much damage for Blacklist International, able to amass so much gold and resource on their side and get his timings right. When the mid-game came, Blacklist International, they never stopped. They didn't let any breathing room for Minana EVOS come through, especially with Edward playing so aggressive on the Teresa, even using the flickers just to catch the right targets. Even though he got solo killed by Lord JMAR, it's fine. As long as he's able to do what he wants to do and what he needs to do, he's going to be able to shut down a lot of the heroes on the side of Minana EVOS. And we saw that when he jumped in on Spider Miles on the Minotaur. And that was the start of Blacklist International controlling the mid-game tempo of this game and taking it away from Minana EVOS. A really crucial pickoff coming out from the XP laner of Blacklist International. But overall, fantastic gameplay and fantastic macro decisions on both sides. But Blacklist International, again, they were the better team when it came to the mid-game because of the fact that they sacrificed early game to be able to play with the Brody and Oheb in the mid-game to win the team fights.
Thank you, Midnight. On the money there, the mid-game power spike was what Blacklist really wanted to play for, and they took their conditions. We mentioned earlier, and I saw a comment, oh my Venus, smiling from afar that the Diggy's back. Coach Ducky's somewhere, probably worried for the future. Show your support for your favorite MPL teams by purchasing their limited edition team notification effects for only 58 diamonds. And of course, so many things going on in-game as well. You can purchase the weekly diamond pass and enjoy a diamond rebate of 455%. You can claim 100 diamonds on the day of your purchase and another 120 by logging in for the next 6 days.
And you shouldn't even worry about missing out on these rewards. Just log into the game every day and Layla's box. It's your savings box. It'll automatically save them for you, so don't worry about it.
By the way, aside from that, item rewards worth over 280 diamonds are waiting for you. the offer is just too good to miss, so don't miss it because you just have to claim it. Just unlock the pass and enjoy the benefits now. Now.
There's so many things
Do it now.
going on in game, and of course, yeah, we're celebrating our 7th anniversary. It's been quite a ride, but so far this this series has been a ride as well. Now that we see Diggy and that he is back, that little owl,
The Eggman.
we now have to consider how will this change the picture of the drafting, the orders, the sequencing, the banning, because Diggy's back.
I'd say just ban it phase 1.
Just ban it
Just
already.
ban it phase 1 because most roamers these days, and again, the good roamers like Minotaur, Matilda, some would even say Edith, they all come in first phase. So just get it out of there.
Well, here's the thing. I would consider letting the Diggy through if Minana EVOS just picked Claude first phase. Because, like, I understand the priority on the Baxia. I understand the Minotaur pick as well. It's just so good versus Fredrin and the Trizla. But you could have saved for a better hero later on. But I do understand why they did it because they're scared that Spider Miles just may just lose out on the hero pool.
Okay, Robert Neil de Guzman.
All right. What is it then?
My national athlete friend, give me a little something here. Is the Claude still worth it if there's no late game to play for? Because Blacklist ended this 11-30. Is that still worth it?
The thing is, I think the only reason they did that because again the hero pool of Spider Miles was being threatened. If it wasn't the case, you could have argued for a different scenario here where Minana EVOS, they are happy with what Blacklist wants because Blacklist in game number 1 they were playing for mid game. If you are playing against a team that wants mid game, that doesn't want to anything to happen in the early game, as a Claude, you're gonna be happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. So those possibilities on the table right now when it comes to Diggy and how Minana EVOS would sequence their drafting in terms of their priority picks. I also feel like as much as he did an amazing job in the EXP lane against Edward, I think now I feel like Minana EVOS can't just go for lane dueling. They have to look at the bigger picture in terms of their XP lane
That's
pick.
true. That's true.
I felt like if they had something like a Yuzong, and even though I didn't like it, the Khalid, he could have been the guy, especially when it came to the third turtle and even the first lord, to actually force out that time's journey to make life easier for Minana EVOS.
We were discussing it earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like Minana EVOS, they needed somebody that can jump on Blacklist International and that can also benefit from the early game aspect that their lineup has.
Yeah.
Even though the Thams enjoys early games like that, they didn't have any hero that can punish like a Paquito, that can just go mid lane, punch the support with 2 skills, force him to recall, that would just delay the entire momentum of Blacklist International. Because Thams constantly fought against the Trizla. And if you were Edward that game, you're happy. Because at the very least, mid lane, gold lane, nothing's happening.
Yeah, even the laps would have been good.
Yeah, the
Right?
laps
Anything that can just honestly cut right through and ruin what Blacklist was doing. But again, they made their choice. That was their decision. They were like, all right, we're going to lock out Agent Zero. And I think, you know what's scary?
What?
It looked like Blacklist International expected that. They were like, all right, you know what, Edward?
Ooh, that's interesting.
It's up to you. We will play the macro without you, and then we'll just regroup. And they did.
Yeah, just be there, do your job. You're going to take some hits, but eventually it'll come back and it's going to work out. And it did work out for Blacklist International. And I want to go back to something that you mentioned earlier, Leo. The lineup of Minana EVOS and their approach was very honest.
Yeah.
It was very clear what they wanted to do, and Blacklist response and their counter for it was clear. One little owl that goes hoot hoot, and the entire philosophy of Minana EVOS, their draft, got broken.
And what's scary is, yes, it's one thing to be honest with your approach. Even their solutions were too honest.
Yeah.
There was very little give. You know how that is? Like, when you meet someone new, what if you knew everything about them? What is the use of dating?
Yeah,
Right?
that's true. That's true.
It's very... I don't know why we went there, but...
It's very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Especially when they picked out the Minotaur.
That's the word.
Blacklist International, for sure, knew that all the game, the entire game of Minana EVOS would revolve around objectives and then Irithel. That's it. And when the time came, like the first turtle, we saw Blacklist International with full intent contested it with both the Fredrin and the Trizla going in. And I think they even expected, okay, we might lose this turtle, but at the very least, Diggy is going to stay with the gold lead. I'm not going to waste my time forcing out 50-50 against Minana EVOS because my time's journey might fail. Because even if you say that, okay, I'll stop the box shop, I'll stop Spider Miles from using Minon's Fury, there's no guarantee that Tsutsui will get the first turtle. Although, second time around, it's different because now you're also playing into the timing of Blacklist International, wherein they have damage. You also have the controls coming out from the Fredrin, and he's now sustainable enough to kind of fight in the front lines. And I think that's what made the difference here. Blacklist understood, first team fight, don't care. I don't care about the objective. Make sure that OHEB gets farmed. Second time around, we have damage, we have sustain, we fight 50-50. If we win, we snowball.
All right, so gentlemen, I feel like with all the points that we've made, the discussion we've had right now, it looked like Minana EVOS did not see that Diggy coming. Maybe didn't even consider it. Maybe that's a thought in the back of head. And again, these are big maybes. But usually, again, if you're going to draft like that, if they drafted like that and expected the Diggy to come out, they would have played against it. You mentioned it earlier, Midnight, that if ever this is the case, Minana EVOS went into this with a much clearer plan and acknowledgement of what Blacklist can throw out. But it looked like after that initial first 5 minutes where Minana EVOS looked very comfortable, they were contesting. It wasn't completely going their way, but it still wasn't completely lost. It was still very competitive. Well, it looks like they were really just shocked and awed by a Diggy. So, now going into game number 2, how are we going to adjust things? What new picks, what we might see? Will it be a better priority for Minana EVOS for, not Domeng, what's his name again? Lord JM's pick.
I'd say that's where it's gonna come from, right? Like I need some Terizlas, I need some Yuzongs, I need jumps on OHEB.
Maybe both. Maybe both. You know, give your side laner something solid. And right now, given the direction of our discussion, I'd say the whole trade, you receive Claude, I receive Diggy, seems okay. Maybe we can go that direction. Because if you can also bolster Lord JM, we might see game 3.
Depending on some certain picks as we head into the second game draft right now, there was a pick that was brought up earlier in the last series that actually changed the game and gave a lot of difficulty for ONIC against AP Bren. I wonder if any of these two teams are even considering your Uranus pickup. Oh. Considering that the Claude is such a big possibility in this game.
I mean, on the hands of either Lord JM and Edward, I don't know. It feels like awkward seeing Edward on a Uranus because this guy makes a lot of plays, and I do understand that the concept of Uranus is very, very different with a lot of the XP laners. I just feel like at this point, Blacklist International needs a playmaker on Edward, and that is what we saw in game number 1, right? Like we saw the jump from Edward with the Terizna on the front line. Maybe it could come out from Minana EVOS. Because it is something that they really are in need of. Like a hero that changes up the dynamics of the team fight. Now that the same pattern has been utilized by both sides, like first pick Valentina, Fredrin, and then Teresa by Blacklist International, you go with the Baksha and Claude this time around still for Minana EVOS.
Okay, so with that said, Baksha, Claude, Valentina, your mid and your insurance policy is set. I think this is better for Minana, and maybe now they'll learn if the Diggy doesn't come up here, last pick, first phase, just ban it out too, so you kind of win.
You know what's scary though is that if Minana EVOS gets Baksha here, I think Blacklist International would still consider picking up the Bruno, just to have enough punish on the Claude lane.
Or they go Nova.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, they go Martis. Okay, that's right. I like this. I like this. This stops the Bruno pick.
Martis is solid. It also kind of messes up with the Fredrin, like in a way that is different from the way Baksha does it.
So a little bit better rounding out heading into the second phase here for Minana EVOS. So we don't see the Lord JM pick just yet. That's one of the picks that we really do have to watch out for. What's going to be the play here for Blacklist International for their third?
Nova? Is it Nova?
Nova or secure Brody, because I think that's going to be banned out considering that Minana EVOS had their hands on the gold lane now. These two bans will most likely be gold laners against OHEB. So I think you have to secure the gold laner now, unless you are willing to play other routes. Like, if Brody and Bruno gets banned out, you must be willing to play both Irithel or Ixia.
Oh, all right.
I was actually also thinking about the Ixia, and now with them picking up the Nova again.
This is where we start. This is, they're just deja vu, man. They're just iterating. It's like, all right, play whatever you want. We're going to stick to this.
Yeah. Clear plan for Blacklist International. Again, expect that Minana EVOS would most likely ban out the gold laners of OHEB. Brody and Bruno must go for Minana EVOS because they already have the Claude, and these two heroes are just so damn strong in the early game. Now looking at the index, wave clear is, of course, really, really strong on the side of Minana EVOS, especially with the Claude. But one thing that is for certain, vision is again on the side of Blacklist International. But that is something that Minana EVOS has answers to, because again, they have a Claude.
To see how well this Claude is going to go for Minana EVOS and how well Blacklist International will respond to it. We talked about it the entire series so far that this is the pick for Doming and the potential poison pick that favors Minana EVOS. Heading to the second phase, we still need an XP laner and a roamer for Minana EVOS, while for Blacklist International, again, still could be a roamer Novaria, but it most likely will go into the mid. So a roamer and an gold laner for Blacklist.
Yeah, we need a more impactful XP laner. And oh, come on, Coach MTB is onto them. Yeah, it's like, yo, they're thinking about it. They know that in game 1, even if Lord James was winning 1v1 against Edward, we gotta watch out.
Man, there you go.
Oh, wow, they also took out the Kali. They really just don't want to give dive.
Perfect bans for both sides. Yuzong,
Buried
Brody,
him twice.
Khalid, most likely the Bruno or the Ixia. They will have to play with the Aether Throw because Claude does win out the matchup versus the Aether Throw.
And there's the
if they ban up the Ixia.
Perfect.
Question is, will Blacklist risk it for the biscuit? Like pick up the Bruno here.
So Bruno's the biscuit.
Maybe get a defensive hero on Renegade. Maybe pick up the Minotaur.
Ooh.
Oh, what if they pick up the Minotaur here and they pick up Bruno last?
Either's okay.
Either's okay.
Either's okay.
But you're giving the Valentina a free.
Yeah,
That's the only risk. That's the only downside. But I kind of still like it though.
I'd rather see Blacklist pick up their gold laner now and leverage the fact that we still don't know if this will be a mid or a roam Nova.
That's right.
No, I was scared with the Beatrix pick.
All right, take it easy. Here we go.
There you go.
Very familiar looking photograph here, posted up by Hall of Legends inductee, Akosi Doggy. There it is. There's a Bruno. All right, so
there's a Bruno.
They don't mind.
Yep.
It is what it is. It's the lesser of two evils instead of revealing the Minotaur first.
Wow, we almost predicted the draft as a table.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like telegraph, right? Like these two teams, they understand what they want in game number 1. Adjustments on game number 2 are made. Now the question is, do you still take the Minotaur? Because I think it's still a good choice.
Will this be Mino Bene for Lord GM?
Mino Bene? Mino
Lapo.
Lapo.
Oh yeah, the Laps.
Oh!
The Laps.
Florin!
And the Florin.
The flow and the laps. Okay. I'm with it. I kind of like how Minana EVOS is approaching this. I mean, it could go very wrong if they don't get the snowball that they're looking for when they do hit their power spike. But this is a roamer for sure. We need a roamer here.
Can't they just go Diggy again?
No, call me crazy. I want to Cho. I want to Cho from Blacklist International.
Oh yeah, considering that. Yeah. A Cho would be great actually.
Yeah. They don't need peel because the fact of the matter is Minana EVOS, they will jump on the Bruno, but they don't have that sure escape. And I feel like Chase is going to become a factor here, especially with the Novaria slow and the catch coming up from the Drizla. That the only thing that Blacklist needs is a hard lockdown, especially up against the Claude.
Will it be the Cho? Oh,
never mind.
That's
They go
not a Cho.
They
That's
go
a
Minotaur.
Okay.
I want a Cho though. But yeah, again, it does fall to the same idea that we've discussed before, when they take Bruno and Minotaur. It's still predicted by the table. But I would have loved to see me some Cho.
That would have been the out of left field pick. That's
Yeah.
still kind of valid.
Yep. And now, as we look at the draft index on your screens right now, with the Florin and Lapu Lapu rounding out the draft of Minana EVOS and the Bruno Minotaur rounding out the draft of Blacklist International, what are the early game conditions you have to watch out for, Midnight?
I mean, early game conditions, crowd control coming off from Blacklist International. This time around, they're the aggressors. They are the ones who are going to take the early to mid objectives, even though we saw that there is a slight favor on the side of Minana EVOS. Again, this is a Claude. It's kind of a deceptive stats, because Claude will always just farm in the early game and play to scale on the late game. So there is that -1 factor that Minana EVOS will have to suffer in the early game, while you have 5 players on the side of Blacklist International that will be able to play with each other in the early to mid.
We head into game number 2. Will this be a sweep for Blacklist International? Now playing a little bit more of an aggressive early game lineup that can set the tempo. Or just like in their first round matchup, will Minana EVOS be able to force game number 3? Here we go.
Before things get a little too hot, heavy, and hectic, I just gotta note, throughout this series, 2 games in, both of the teams have been doing their best to actually stick to the metagame and the fundamentals. There have been no gears grinded as per Midnight.
Thank you. Thank you.
No
No,
gear
thank
grinding.
them.
Just like,
Thanks to God.
Yeah.
Thank the God. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Thank heavens.
There's
Thank
no
heavens.
gear grinding. More like gear oiling up because
Yeah.
they brought back Diggy.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
I like all the picks. Maybe it kind of like oiled a little bit when I saw the Tams. But yeah, more or less, it's a very fundamental approach.
Yeah, neither of them did something wrong. It's just the other did it better.
Yeah. I mean, they did suffer the downsides of playing the Thams game number 1. But this time around, both drafts very well-rounded.
Yeah, it's either agilities, 4 of them from Minana EVOS, Kaizen. Actually, I'm not sure who was able to
A lot of
get
firmness,
that.
though.
Yeah, a lot of firmness. So it's like, even though Blacklist, yes, they can set the tempo with their aggression, they know they don't need speed for it. They just need a little bit more defense to actually be aggressive.
Yeah.
So they go firmness.
Especially with the heroes that they have, like the Fredrin, the Terizla, these guys. Noteworthy to mention also is they're also up against a Martis, which kind of limits the potential of the hero when you rock the firmness, because the early game damage is going to be negligible, honestly.
You see there, the top 3 career most picked heroes of Agent Zero himself. 46 picks for the Benedetta, 41 for the Paquito, and because of what happened in the past, and of course MPL Philippines Season 9, 23 on the Esmeralda.
Yeah, the never-ending love story between Esmeralda and
The
Uranus.
eternal battle.
The eternal battle. I kind of miss it. No, I don't.
Yeah, no,
Where
no.
nobody
Don't-
truly
don't-
wins.
Don't bring it back. Like X-Plane lane has changed so much over the past years, wherein you're no longer a dead lane hero. You're the gap closer.
Yep. The X Factor, and now they bear down under the Hitman. Renegade here, very low, taken out by a Decimate. Kaizen draws first blood. Astral Echoes thrown out by the Magic Man. Yue forced out an early Minone Fury, answered by Edward. Agent Zero pops the penalty zone. In they go. Bravest fighter coming in. Sensui hits the turtle with a big old bonk, and now they turn on him. Down goes Oheb off camera. Doming wins the 1v1, and Minana EVOS aren't done. They cross straight into the purple, and they let go.
Wow. Sensui, still instinctual with those retributions.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mistakes were committed there by Blacklist International, but again, Sensui with the instincts, but they lost the Bruno top lane.
Man, that was a solo kill by Doming.
And you're losing up against a Claude. Now you open up the window wherein Minana EVOS would be able to play the mid game without having to worry about the Claude.
Yeah, and at the same time, that now means Blacklist International might need to put a little bit more focus topside to sort of balance out what happened there in that 1v1 loss of Oheb against Doming.
That's a crucial death by Renegade, honestly. Like the first death of the Minotaur, he overstepped his boundaries. They didn't see where the Valentina was, and he got punished also by Kaizen with the
Decimate.
with the Decimate. Yeah, he was only level 3.
And really looked like Minana EVOS actually didn't pull the trigger right away for that play. It's like, wait, okay, is this just Renegade? All right, let's go pounce on him. It's like they weren't too over eager to pick him off. They really just made sure first that it was just Renegade and he wouldn't be able to get away.
And in an early moment like that, in a big turtle contest, the first one, you couldn't trade. There was no right trade to
that's
do.
massive.
Oh, big Astral Echoes here. Taunt coming in from Sensui, trying to pull Kaizen in. Blazing Duet by
nice
Doming. Puts Oheb here at a third of his health. Blacklist backing off.
What a sidestep from Doming. He prevented the stop from Renegade, the stomp from Renegade, because it would have cancelled the Blazing Duet. But the Blazing Duet was enough to clear the minion wave. Do keep in mind that the Blazing Duet does not get any more bonus damage on clearing the minion wave. So it was important for Doming to do that, to stop this 5-man group up from Blacklist International. However, it was the right thing to do for Blacklist. Like, they needed to group up, utilize the presence of the Bruno. But again, Minana EVOS is just doing a fantastic job of controlling this gold lane.
Still a very close game. Second turtle has been started now by Blacklist International. Will they be able to finish the job here, or will Minana EVOS heavily contest?
Lancy here. Go ahead and stealing away the Minoan Fury so he can pull the trigger on that if he wants to. Too late, he already did. Astral Echo thrown out. Turtle at about half health. Blacklist with the pull. Amazing positioning. Sensui with the taunt.
Lancy.
Watch Lord JM. Big Minoan Fury thrown out. Lancy pulls the trigger finally. And Lord JM comes in. Steals away the turtle. Second one goes over to Minana EVOS. They got shields. They got damage. And they're going to try to punish Agent Zero. Edward, the only one left drawn between Blacklist and the rest of them. No one falls. Minana EVOS up by a 700 gold lead.
Ooh, that was a big Bravest Fighter flicker play by Lord JMAR.
Yeah.
Stunned Sensui and took Turtle. at the same time.
Yeah, what that looked like was Minana EVOS not properly layering their crowd control abilities, but then Lord JM going, oh, fine, I'll do it myself. And I'll
like,
get the turtle too.
Stop all the shenanigans. I'm gonna do it myself.
Lord
I have all the
JM.
stones.
Yeah.
Just mechanics.
Just mechanics. That's what the JM stands for. I like that.
I like it. I like
And
it.
already a Bloodlust axe picked up by his Lapu Lapu. JM showing why he is one of the most focused players on the side of Minana EVOS. Well, a lot of people have been singing his praises. Let's see how Minana EVOS will continue now this momentum, as it is still a very close game. Great songs and pipes there by Leo.
Yep. Speaking about great songs and pipes, great mechanics and understanding as well by Doming AR. He's dominating the Bruno lane, and considering that this is a Claude versus a Bruno matchup, it's supposed to be the other way around. Not this Claude being allowed to double lane 4 minutes in, just pushing out with the resources, the gold that he's able to get. He is now close to getting the items that he needs to be able to fight in the mid game. Do keep in mind that with a Claude, you only need just the Trinity, the DHS, the Golden Staff, and then maybe the Corrosion side. Or maybe in this game, get the Wind of Nature to be able to fight into OHIM.
Ooh, Wind of Nature first. Interesting choice there, but it does make sense. You know, a bit more damage output. Place of magic.
Pulls the trigger. Doming AR comes in with a blazing duet.
Oh my goodness, Doming.
Just hides underneath his tier 1 and the rest of Blacklist. Close call.
Yeah, and he went into that knowing that he was just about to build his golden staff.
Yeah, and
he clicked it while he was in the middle of the ult.
Yeah, exactly.
He bought it.
And here's the thing. He does that. It looks stupid at times, but he does that so that Blacklist needs to recall. They need to reset. Because if you don't have HP on OHIB, he's not going to be able to push.
Here we go. Last turtle of the game up, and there's a pull coming in. Oh, Minana EVOS lets it get reset. Edward at less than half health. Minnow and Fury from both sides. Here comes the penalty zone coming in. Kaizen very low. Kaizen, a third of his health coming in. Words of damage. Mortal coil through. Flicker from Edward! And the big old bonks, and Sui scores a kill. Blacks International, a man up. 4v5 here. Lord James spent his bravest fighter already. Turtle at less than half health here. Oh, it looks like the turtle is going to be black. Lancy goes down. OHIM gets the kill. Sensui scores.
Blacklist International with a massive win, converting it. This time, though, it feels like Lord JM might be regretting using the bravest fighter early on into the turtle dance.
I mean, Blacklist International
Stolen.
again. This is just them understanding how to play objectives and dances around the Lords and the Turtles. And also the downside of having a Florin, right? Because Blacklist International, when they saw Minana EVOS trying to go for the contest, they immediately went onto the front lines. Whoever is at the front, they deal damage to that target. And that forces out a lot of things from Minana EVOS, like the stolen Minnow Siri from Lancy AR. Because at that point, they didn't have any gold laner to back up, for them to be able to back up. So they needed to kind of like fight into Blacklist International. But Blacklist, they were just poking. They were just poking the front liners of Minana EVOS. And Kaizen was at the front lines that is soaking up the damage from Blacklist International. And what that meant is that their jungler is losing health, meaning in the long run, you're not going to be able to contest the turtle any longer.
Minana EVOS needs to work on the layering of abilities and timing of it, especially during the objective fights. That Astral Recall is a problem right now. Minana EVOS are trying to open up the map with their claws, but it's getting covered by Edward as Blacklist now finally have set up OHIB very well. We're now pushing alongside the team, breaking towers.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, it's not even a Diggy on the other side, but consider this. Where is the Claude going to go if the map gets shrunken so quickly that even double laning, even split pushing is too dangerous, especially since there's a Novari on the other end.
Yep, that's one of the downsides, right? Like, if you are playing that Claude, you're meant to play to scale. The Blacklist International, right now, they're just choking the resources from Minana, suffocating Minana EVOS even. And I do think that the Florin does make sense when it comes to covering team fights with the heals, but they don't have that same ability where Blacklist is able to just, out-zone Minana EVOS away from these objectives. That is the power of what the Minotaur brings into the table here for Blacklist International.
Yeah, Bruno hurts. A lot of damage right now coming out of OHIB's feet. Minana EVOS down almost 3K against Blacklist International. This Lord now up. Minana EVOS trying to find positioning, but Blacklist again. You mentioned at midnight, they're getting zoned out by Blacklist. Minana EVOS still trying to find an opening.
Blacklist with the pulse, and Sui holding on to this Lord. As we dance, Lord JM keeps eyes on and keeps tabs.
Oh, Dome.
The northern side of this pit in control for Minana EVOS, but they're taking way too much damage. You feel it. 2K ahead. Blacks International just forcing the advantage, pushing them away. Lord here
Edward.
at a tenth of its health. Oh, just one more. Sensui scores, and now they collapse. In Fury here by Renegade. Oh, and they just reset. They regroup. What a beautiful dance.
Yeah. Simple mission for Blacklist International. Zone, poke damage, poke the right targets, use everything on Kaizen when the Lord HP is low. Get Lord. That's it.
Yeah, they made that look relatively easy. Minana EVOS could not find an opening at all. The moment he got even close to Retribution range, it looked like he was on a trampoline getting knocked up twice.
Lord JM.
Oh, man. That's nasty.
They hurt.
And they have to back off. That's already a Malefic Roar in the Bruno.
Yeah, they have a lot of insane poke damage coming out from Blacklist International.
Oh.
2 balls, mind you, 2 balls.
That's right. One of the astral nature, the other a football. And now they're going on, knocking through Minana EVOS' door. All 3 waves getting synced, top, mid, and bottom.
Yeah, that does not.
Ouch.
Again! Yue! And I can feel the person in the crowd who usually yell it right now. Yue!
Oh, here we go.
Oh, again!
Top goes down. Minana EVOS still facing a half-healthed Lord. They melt it down in quick fashion. But just the same, Blacklist happy with the results.
Oof.
Approaching 5K. Yue just throwing out meteors, comets, the thing that ended the dinosaurs. Minana EVOS' face.
Oh, again! Over and over, Yue!
I hope we have stats for this. Like the accuracy of the hits coming out from Yue.
No.
If he hits another one, I'm gonna lose. Oh my God!
He kind of did though, and now this turret stands.
It's like he's the moon from Majora's Mask.
But
again!
barely. US stop coming in, penalty zone. Here comes Agent Zero. Lance AR goes out of there. That turret falls.
Oh,
and here comes
JM!
the answer back from Lord JM, the bravest fighter. And Renegade answers back with him. And Owen Fury, he's angry. And now Yue, threatened. Kaizen falls. Oheb barely alive. Down goes Lord JM. It's a 2 for none. Minana EVOS overextended in their own base.
All right, 5v3, Blacklist. Still gonna try to find a way to end this right here, right now. Can they? Will they?
2 waves though, it's hard to deal with this kind of wave. But with a Claude, they are able to do this in 2E.
Especially with just 3 heroes left. Dummy Air coming in with the blazing duet.
Cancel.
But it might be too late. Just 2 defenders here. Minana EVOS holding on for dear life.
Oh!
Sui takes down Domeng. It's just spider miles left. Blacklist, they can smell it. Victory is imminent as the agents roar and make some noise here in the shooting gallery. Here comes the wave. Blacks International taking their time. Fully in control. Mortal Coil clearing the waves. Minana EVOS still here.
Great control by Kaizen and the members of Minana EVOS to stop the waves from coming in.
Sensui gets taken out with a decimate. Look at the base. Ain't no minions.
One more
They're
wave,
pushing
one more
it out.
wave,
one
They're
more
pushing it
wave.
out. There's the wave from the north. And that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, Blacks International back to 1 as they won series against Minana EVOS.
The Tigers get swept. The code may have been read, but it is still unbroken. Blacklist International gets the series on the back of a balls-to-the-wall performance by their Eve, by their Bruno, by the entire squad. That winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance.
Very big win for Blacklist International. Again, the fundamental approach, the timings, the lore dances, the objective takes, the suffocation that Minana EVOS felt versus the agents. This is how well the code is built, and Blacklist International is still running the same strategy, different gameplay, different roster, but overall, same ways of winning.
I'm liking Rosie, man.
Yeah.
I'm liking Rosie, the killer instinct, and just the constant pressure that Yue puts in. I know now why they call him the Magic Man. It's because you see her HP bar, and now you don't.
Renegade, Oheb, Sensui, Edward, Yue. That was a Rosie performance. Any other thoughts, Midnight?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Yue, and the way he played in this game was just fantastic. Even though I didn't like Gavaria game number 1, game number 2 was hella different. Again, as you mentioned, Leo, every time he sees HP bar, it feels like he's raging. Why are you full HP? I'ma poke you.
You shouldn't be. Let's bring it down to 50 right away.
Okay,
60 right away.
This 50 next.
Yeah, now that's correct. That was one of the most impressive Novaria sequences I've seen. And
Crazy sequence.
going back now, trying to remember it, it is Yue. I believe it was during MSC or late into MPL Philippines Season 11 that they started checking on the Novaria as well, because Yue was just landing Astral Recall after Astral Recall.
It was MSC.
MSC,
Yeah,
there
It
we
was
go.
in Cambodia,
Both of them,
where
both
it
of
was by his hand. ONIC Indonesia suffered their first 2 major losses in a tournament like that. Imagine that, ONIC Indonesia is going straight, and when they met Blacklist, let me score 2, why not?
Yeah. Here's the Novaria Yue. And no other way to put it than now he's got to see the clear thing for Minana EVOS, got to improve on their objective team fighting. Now, from the official insurer of MPL Season 12, we bring you the one for gamers life insurance plan. Hey, that's great. That's a first with MLBB and game rewards.
Your expert wingman is here to protect you in the epic adventure called life. Whatever build you choose, visit shop.fwd.com. That's shop.fwd.com.ph for more details.
Wow, that's the first insurance plan partnership that we've ever had. Very thankful for FWD Life Insurance for being our expert wingman for the season, as Leo does his little dance.
I don't know what that was.
Can you do it again?
One
No.
more time.
Okay. All right. Whoa,
Okay,
okay. Thank you. We'll make him do it again.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
And it looked like that's what
I
the
can't say no to
Novaria.
you, dude.
I felt like that's what the Novaria was like. Every time she'd be like, she'd toss out the Astral Recall, right? And then she'd float around. Then when she gets it back, she'll just toss it
The
out.
charge up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the charge up is actually just her doing that.
And it just throws it out.
Yeah, just throw it
out of the
just
air.
throws it out
Some
of
broken hero, just no cooldowns. But that's what it seemed like, right? At some point, you were like,
Yeah.
does your Astral Meteor not have a cooldown? What's
Dude.
going on? Your Astral Recall just
It's funny watching it, but imagine Minana EVOS, how it felt.
Yeah.
Like, dude, can you stop?
painful.
Like every 5 seconds, balls running into your base, and you also have to deal with the balls coming out from
Agonizing.
Bruno, right?
Yeah.
And now there's a flying ball heading
Miserable.
straight towards your base.
Yeah, it's like the call
Despair
there
inducing.
would be, hey guys, sorry I'm low, I'm gonna go back.
Sorry,
Hey guys,
bro.
sorry I'm low, I'm gonna go back. Hey guys, sorry I'm low, I'm gonna go back.
Terrifying.
Retreat,
Over and over again.
retreat, concept cost, retreat.
Retreat. Wow, what a game by you and that Navarro, of course, by Blacklist. And yeah, we talked about it, Minana EVOS. It looked like they were a bit scrambled sometimes in their objective team fighting. The ultimate of the Lapu Lapu coming out a little bit too early. Lancy with the stolen ultimate from the Minotaur coming out a little bit too early. Seems like there are some moments that really look like, why are you using your abilities so early on in the fight? Because if you layered all of it in just one big go, that actually would make the Fredrin struggle.
And that's the problem with Minana EVOS tonight specifically. Just tonight.
Just
In
tonight.
their games here, they all did well individually.
Yeah.
But I failed to see the thread across all 5 members.
Yeah, which is surprising coming from the week they had last week. They look really good together,
Yeah,
playing
that's
together, but
true.
now it looked like, I don't know, all of them wanted to be a hero in the moments where they should have tried to be individualistic.
I agree.
Right?
Just play your role, man. Be part of the book.
Yeah,
the army.
Yeah. It kind of looks like Minana EVOS put a lot of pressure on themselves, knowing that, hey guys, we're on a roll right now. Yeah, we can continue this. Let's see how they're going to be adjusting to it, though. But of course, in a moment, we'll be joining Mara Aquino on stage with the members of Blacklist International, finally snapping their week
Rosie.
4 3-series losing streak. It was a struggle for them, and there were a lot of questions about Blacklist International. And I feel like they got to take one of the specific condition, not myself, but even on my Venus in the video, in the clip going around that they mentioned, and a lot of the agents as well. I saw the comments. Decisiveness and objective team fighting.
Yeah,
the shot calling and the focus.
By the way, happy birthday to Wise.
Happy birthday,
Oh,
Wise!
happy birthday,
right.
Wise.
Wise's
Was it
birthday.
Today or was that yesterday?
Today.
Today. Happy birthday,
How
Wise.
crazy is that? It's
With
Super
Super
Marco's
Marco, yeah.
birthday and Wise's birthday.
All right, so let's go on over to the stage right now. I think we're going to end up saying happy birthday again for Wise. We'll see. Here's Blacklist.
Thank you, casters. All right, everybody, Blacklist. You know it. Now, kailangan natin i-commend ang performance at ang debut ni Yue with this lineup. Yue, great job. Congratulations. Palakpakan natin si Yue. Kasi kung basketball to, ikaw ay isang Stephen Curry. Lahat ng astral recall mo, laging may tinatamaan. How happy were you with your performance with this lineup?
Masaya kasi napakita namin yung pinapractice namin araw-araw.
Actually, what was the decision behind having Yue in? kay Coach Master the Basics?
Ano po kasi, puro kami talo last week. So, sabi ng mga insan, i-mekos-mekos daw namin yung lineup.
Mekos-mekos! I-mekos-mekos! Wow! Talaga nasa social media ka, ha? Alam na alam. Alam na alam yan. By the way, since now you have the mic, usually nakikita natin yung Blacklist International na nag-uube. Kayo actually ang nagpakilala sa mga support heroes. Pero ngayon, it's a different type of Blacklist. Hindi na siya ube ngayon. Is this the revamp, more improved? What is this new Blacklist?
Siguro best term yung revamp or buff. Kasi lahat ng teams ngayon nag-i-improve, lahat nag-a-adapt sa ube. So kailangan pa rin namin gumawa ng next level para at least makasabay din kami or mas lumamang kami sa kanila.
Very nice. At talagang full of surprises ngayon ang Blacklist International. And now, actually, first time ko nakitang magdigi si Rani J. Talagang lumalawak ang kanyang hero pool. Ikaw pa rin ang nangunguna ngayon. At dahil sa'yo, Oheb, yung Brody mo nung game 1, walang patay at all. Okay, now if you were to rate Rani J sa kanyang digi sa inyong duo, how would you rate him?
Ano yan? 10 out of 10 yan. Protektado ako dyan.
10 out of 10, protektado. Guys, palakpakan natin si Rani J kasi palawak ng palawak ang kanyang hero pool. At it's no longer true dun sa nagsabi sa kanya na konti lang ang kanyang hero pool. Once again, let's give Rani J a round of applause. And now it's time to announce the match MVP. Let me hear some names. Parang rinig ko yung yung galing Indonesia. And now, let's take a look at the screen for the match MVP. Oheb! Oheb! Ngayon, nasa number 4 na ang Blacklist International. You guys are now number 4. You're working your way up with this buffed, revamped Blacklist. Ano ang masasabi mo dito? How hard did you guys have to work for this new identity of Blacklist, and what else can we expect?
Siguro, nung mga natalo kami nung nakaraan, talaga naging MLS life na lang kami talaga. Nag-focus kami sobra, tsaka nag-practice yun. Siguro magpe-pay off naman lahat siguro ng mga practice namin this week. Tsaka marami pa silang aabangan sa mga lineup namin na ilalabas.
And so far, it's been paying off. Now, what do you have to say sa mga talagang todo cheer para sa Blacklist International every single game?
Thank you sa inyong lahat. Tuwang-tuwa si Yui lagi. Salamat sa inyong lahat sa suporta.
Look at that support. Ikaw nga, do you wanna say something to them? Kasi alam mo, todo sigaw sila. Naalala ko tuloy, Indonesia ba yun? Yung talagang, Yue! MS Cambodia. Cambodia pala yun. Kayo na pa nila sinisigaw yung pangalan mo. Anong mensahe mo sa kanila?
Thank you sa laging pag-support at supportan niyo pa kami sa mga darating namin na laban.
There you have it, everybody. Give it up for Blacklist International. You may now take your bow. And take your walk of victory. At syempre, meron silang buff ngayon with Shrike in the house, giving full support to Blacklist International. Ayon nga kay Coach Master the Basics, ito na ang buff, revamp version ng Blacklist International. And it looks like they're on their way up right now in 4th place. Hihimayin natin ang ating laban, balikan na natin ating casters. Pasok!
From Mekas to Pocus. As Oheb said it, they just said, hey, we just focus on our game, made ML our life, and the next thing you know, bam, we're improving. And they started off this week after a rough week 4 with a win sweep against Minana EVOS. And yeah, we see there, they look lighter, this Blacklist International. Even though the tough week they had, it seems like they weren't overly focused on the pressure of finally being able to win again.
I kind of missed Yue on stage. I can't believe we went, a month and change without Yue in the main lineup. And now that he's here, I would not have it any other way.
Yeah, and
I love you, Haji, but...
And I love you too, Midnight, because now it's your turn for your analysis. Say something smart, bro.